welcome to another episode of Showboys. My name is Mike. I'm joined by my two good friends, fellow hosts, Pixel Nick and Chadwick III. Nick, how are you tonight?
Gang's back. I'm happy.
Yeah. What about you, Chad? Are you feeling better this
Feeling
week?
great. Feeling great.
Yeah.
Feeling
Chad's
great.
healthy.
Much
I'm
better.
happy.
Yeah.
We're all happy. Look at that sparkle, twinkle in his eye. It's back.
Yeah. He's alive, doing well. Yeah, it's good to have the gang back. First episode after Christmas. You guys have good Christmases with the fams?
Yeah, man. Yeah. It was great. It always is with kids. So
That is true.
Yeah.
Christmas is much better with children.
Yeah.
Did you get everything you wanted, Chad?
I did not get everything I wanted, but I didn't really ask for much. So
I mean, you have a Steam Deck, so what else could you
I
possibly?
usually practically get like stuff I need, like socks and t-shirts. Like once you get to a certain age, it's just like, but I will say my mom did get me an Apple Watch this year. She got me an iPad Pro last year. So she's been stepping it up a little bit.
Dang,
so thanks, Mom. Good looking out, Mom.
Coming through. What about you, Michael?
Yeah, it's good. Beck did like this big dollhouse for the girls. She bought like the dollhouse is almost as tall as me. When I say big, like it's huge. From like the thrift store for like $10 or something. I don't remember how much, but it's really cheap. And then she spent like from November to December. There you go. You got it live. The cough
already
clear counter.
Already 2 minutes and 50 seconds in.
Yeah, she spent like from November, maybe even in October to like a week before Christmas, like just decking this dollhouse out. Like her and her dad made furniture for the girls' Barbie dolls. Like it's crazy. Maybe I'll take a picture of it and post it in Discord or something. But it was really cool to see the girls get that because they love that stuff, and it was really cool to see all the hard work that Beck did be appreciated by the girls. Yeah, it was fun time with family, kids, watching the kids open their presents. Always a good time. Got a couple new podcast uniforms. I'm wearing one right now. Super Mario hoodie. Got a Mandalorian hoodie. So yeah.
I didn't get any nerd culture stuff. I did get this Ohio State hoodie, which is very comfortable. But the unfortunate thing about it is it's the wrong size. So this is probably literally the only time I'm ever going to be able to enjoy it because it will shrink and be too small. It's all good.
So it's like a large children's.
It's a medium. I wear large.
Oh, okay.
So by the time your larges shrink up, they're mediums.
Yeah.
By the time you know what I mean. So
yeah.
But yeah, I gotta rep Ohio State. It's gonna be nice to get them, get to see them get their ass kicked on New Year's Eve.
2 days. 2 days. We'll see what happens. All right, and this Nick is gonna completely tune out here, but how wild would it be? Michigan, Ohio State.
Oh, dude. We were talking.
Game.
We were talking. It would literally be the biggest one ever.
That'd be cool.
And probably in the future too. It's the biggest rivalry game probably in college football.
I would even argue maybe even sports. Period.
Yeah. I mean, it's
the most real one.
The opportunity is there. So if the NCAA is rigged in any way, we're about to find out if it's Ohio State and Michigan in the national championship this year.
Exactly. Yeah. So I know everyone that listens to this podcast about like Star Wars and video games totally are huge sports fans. But Ohio State is playing Georgia on one side of the college playoff bracket, and TCU is playing Michigan on the other side. So, man, there might be an Ohio State versus Michigan national championship college football.
Yeah, I would love to rewatch that Michigan-Ohio State game on the national championship stage. That'd be freaking great if we could watch them lose for a third time in a row to Michigan.
You need to change that attitude, sir. But yeah, so it's good to be back in this awkward week.
Poor Nick had a sports comment, and Mike just shut him right out.
What did he say?
He took that thing to heart. He said at the beginning, where you're just going to tune out. He's not even going to listen to you. He's tuning you out.
Yeah, that's how it really works. Like,
what was your comment, Nick? What was your comment?
I would say we are at the point in our culture where anything sports is totally nerd/dork culture, because if that's not the biggest bunch of nerds I've ever met,
yeah, that's true.
They don't get to not be dorks or nerds anymore.
Yeah, like exactly.
Especially when they play like RPGs on their phone where they pick their players and
or fantasy
Dude,
fantasy
can you dress your
RPGs.
own players yet? Like your own
I mean, you play any sports game, you can create your own player, and the character creation tools in like Madden or the NBA games, like customization wise, but then when you factor in like the stat wise, like it's just as deep, maybe deeper than like most fantasy RPG character creations. It's insane. Fantasy football is just D&D confirmed. That is 100% the truth.
I mean, there's probably a lot more truth to that than he's saying in a joking manner. Like it's probably pretty similar, actually.
That is very, very accurate. If you saw my league chat, like this week is the champ, like the finals and the playoffs for our league.
Yeah.
And the commissioner, like for each playoff round matchup, he like wrote an analysis breakdown, like short paragraph, and they were hysterical. But like the RPG that like the role playing that is happening in this fantasy football league is just as crazy as a Dungeons and Dragons campaign for sure.
Yeah, I am. I'm in my final for the fire department fantasy, so I'm pumped about that. I'm currently favored by even though the point projections are always horrendously off. I'm projected by like 19 points to win, so we'll see.
Look at you! We're in the presence of a champion, Nick.
Yeah, been number one for a couple weeks now. Hopefully, I can.
That's what he's been doing.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Watching my fantasy team.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, we got a lot to get into tonight. We have some guests joining us for our 2022 year in review / recap. So without further ado, there's a lot of other things I'd love to catch up on, but we have a lot to get into and not a lot of time to get into it. So first off, thank you to our top tier patrons, Tim B, H, and Joe C. You guys rule. Thank you so much. We just put December's Patreon episode up like last week, I think. Nick, does that sound right? Or the week before?
Yes, sir.
I don't know. It was a really fun episode, 2.5 hour banger. We built out I shouldn't say built out. We picked all 64 shows. Actually, we picked a lot more than 64 shows for the upcoming March Madness streaming service original bracket that we're doing. It's going to be the entire month of March. It's going to be insane. Sign up for our Patreon. Go watch that episode. It's going to be really cool. I guess that was our official announcement, by the way.
Just dropped it.
We'll get into it later. Check out the merch shop. Join our Discord. We have the Nintendo Switch OLED giveaway at 1,000 subscribers. Of course, that's still going on. Nick always has it like right by his side, ready to throw up on the screen. But subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe to the Showboys Podcast YouTube channel. And you could have a chance to win a Nintendo Switch OLED. So yes, we're still doing that campaign. Help us get to 1,000 subs. We got no news, no what's watching, no what's playing, because we have a lot to cover tonight. So thought it'd be fun, first off, to have an episode here at the end of the year, last episode of 2022, to give you the Showboys picks for movie of the year, show of the year, and game of the year, with the caveat that these picks don't necessarily have to be shows or movies or games that released in 2022, just that we watched or played them in 2022. So what we're going to do throughout the night, myself, Nick, and Chad will all give you our pick, our nominees, our pick, any honorable mentions for movie, show, and game of the year. We're going to be joined by everyone that we could gather that's involved with Showboys to give their picks. Some, sent us messages in Discord. Some will be joining us live. And others, like our good friend Ugly Kid Joe Cross, he wasn't able to join us live. He's got to work. He's at work right now. But he was kind enough to pre-record a video and send his picks in, which I previewed, and it's great. Can't wait for you guys to see that. And then along the way, thought it would be fun to just recap some of our favorite moments or things that we accomplished here for the podcast, or our Showboys brand overall. Because looking back on it, Nick, in our Discord chat when we were going through like our recap, I didn't realize that we've kind of accomplished a lot this year.
Yeah, man. You don't like to think about it, but we accomplished a lot of things.
Yeah. It's true. I am always feeling like I'm not accomplishing anything, but then when you write it all down, it's like, oh, we actually did quite a lot. That's pretty cool. So I don't know. You want to start there? What's one of your favorite moments, or maybe one of your favorite things that we've accomplished this year, Nick?
I definitely a highlight, and I think it's going to be a thing we do going forward, and it's super fun because it's so ambitious. So we have to be so selective in how we go about it. But the Throwback Thursday series we did on Game of Thrones, right?
Cool.
So the fact that just the way that played out, we always record and go live on Thursdays. That's just convenient. So to pick an older completed show and just like rip through it, and like every other week go through a whole season, it was just a really good format, and that was a lot of fun, especially in our format of 2 have seen it, 1 has not. I think that lends itself to a lot of good discussion as we had with Game of Thrones. So
yeah, that was a great idea, Chad, and unintentionally amazing staple that I think will happen as we continue on Showboys. Because
we were just trying in like a month. I feel
that kind of just fell into our lap, because Chad and Nick obviously super excited for House of the Dragon, and I had never seen Game of Thrones, so Chad's like, dude, let's cover Game of Thrones all the way up to House of the Dragon, and then it just happened. Every other week we did a season, and it just worked out perfectly. And I'm really excited to continue that. Which we will be doing in January. We'll be having our second Throwback Thursday series.
I'm not ready.
And we're going to be covering Mr. Robot, which will be a substantially less amount of Throwback Thursday episodes and seasons to watch, coming in at 4 seasons. So we'll have 4 episodes every other week starting in January. That's going to be really fun. That's probably my favorite series of all time, I would say. If not, it's like number 2. But I would have to do some serious thinking about what would dethrone Mr. Robot as my favorite series. I've seen it. Nick has seen it. Chad has not. So this will be really fun. So be looking forward to that. Chad, is there anything that we've done, or, episodes or anything that you particularly enjoyed?
I mean, you guys already harped on the Game of Thrones thing. I thought that was just really cool. It was like a really big project for us, so I'm glad we got through it all, and I think we did a great job with it. For me personally, though, it was getting Jakku on the episode this year. I was super ecstatic about that. Like we said, he was like my Wendy Goon. Even though he's not that big of a YouTuber, he was like big to me. He's big in my heart, you know what I mean? So it was cool to have him on. I'd love to get him back on here. We're kind of going back and forth on dates here, but hopefully we can get him back on here, because
I need to talk about Pokemon with him.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
No, that was a super fun episode. I'm glad you brought that up because one, he's an awesome guest and fellow YouTuber. So he has such a nice broad array of like interests. And like, even though like Mike and him could probably talk about Pokemon for 4 hours, we didn't even really need to talk about Pokemon at all.
Right.
Because between you and I, there was plenty to dig in with him too.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It was just a cool thing to go. I mean, we went from, samurai video games to Japanese history to all kinds of stuff with him. It was just a fun episode. And that's the highlight for me.
I forget, maybe I was on vacation or something. I wasn't there for that episode, but I do remember listening to it. And he just seemed like a really cool and fun person to talk to. It was a good episode, and you're right. You guys covered a wide array of topics, and it was really good. Jordan. Speaking of guests, 2021 for us was a huge year for guests. A lot of interviews of fellow indie podcasters, We had Wendigoon on. We had some other fun guests. 2022, we kind of stepped back a little bit, but we did have another fun guest and interview, and that was Alex Kister from the Mandela Catalog, the creator of the Mandela Catalog. And that was just really cool to kind of, one, talk to somebody, a creator, and not only a creator, but a creator of one of the more successful and at this time like one of the bigger analog horror series that's out right now, being a favorite genre of mine. Getting to talk to a creator was really cool, and getting to kind of learn some more things of the Mandela lore and how he came up with some of the things. It was just really cool. And on top of that, like, he had in one of his videos, like, I forget exactly what was spray painted on the wall, but like he literally spray painted his bedroom wall, and it was like behind him while we were talking to him. So it was just like it was great.
Living the art.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
sure.
mean, still, even occasionally we get a random comment on that video of someone that finds that and they're like, "Wow, this is such like a wealth of just info," because he digs up just so much for his fans, because he has like a little cult following, and usually that analog horror stuff, once you're like into it, like you are deep into it, and even just the most obscure things that like he just offhandly said, like people find it super interesting. It's like another piece to the puzzle. So
Yeah. Well, and like, just not to make this analog horror part 3, but just like the way that genre works, the videos are shrouded in mystery. Like, there's a lot of things that you have to kind of piece together through like context clues in videos, or even like episode descriptions, or like secondary YouTube channels or websites. Like, they get like, they spread out very far, and sometimes the roots can grow really deep. So being able to pry that information from the creator himself was very satisfying. But yeah, we also had a few other firsts. We did our first What's Listening episode. Nick and I love music, and even Dad behind the scenes, which he's behind the scenes. Thank you, Dad. We're all big fans of music. Chad hates music, but we did our first music themed episode, which we hope to continue to do. We did our first power rank episode, which was very fun, Star Wars related. I think we even did the tier list too with Jake Gyllenhaal.
oh yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
you could see part of that thumbnail right behind Chad there on the left.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite thumbnails. It's so colorful. And then we started we started the companion series idea with the Mandalorian. I almost said the Mandela Catalog. But that's been a staple throughout, our history as a podcast. But there are so many shows that we enjoy enough to want to cover in a companion series, but there's only so many hours in a day and so many nights a week that we have free to get down here and talk to each other. So obviously we can't have a companion series for every single show that we want to. So we tried out a new idea, and that is basically a limited coverage episode, or like a limited, like a 1 episode companion series covering an entire season of a show. We did like Peacemaker, Andor, Rings of Power,
Stranger Things.
I mean, there were a handful of shows that we did that too. And those were really fun too, because like, obviously doing a companion series for every show would be amazing, but like, we can't do that.
That's a full-time,
yeah,
multiple full-time jobs.
But yeah, that's just some of the fun, notable things that we found interesting. We do have Joe. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 2022. Yeah, I mean, we got a couple more days. We'll be feeling 2023. We do have, of course, Answer the Boys. We pose these, our topic to you guys, every week, looking for your insight, thoughts, and opinions. And we asked for your movies, shows, and games of the year. So we'll be going through those throughout the episode. Let's go ahead and just tackle one right now off the top, and then we'll each give one pick. I'll let you guys decide if we're doing movie, show, or game first. But Jared says, from Play Along Podcast, by the way, you might recognize him from our assorted Pokemon episodes, but Jared says, I'm going to use the same criteria I use for picking my game of the year. These are my favorite content that I experienced this year, but didn't necessarily come out this year. For movie, honestly, didn't watch very many movies this year. I went and saw Spirited Away subbed in theaters, which I had never watched it subbed. Very good. You like that one, Chad?
Good freaking movie, man. Yeah, we just watched that with the kids. Awesome movie to watch with the kids, especially if you're trying to get them into anime. It is a fantastic. It's like halfway between a Disney movie and an anime. It is an anime, but yeah, it's one of the best animated movies ever made, hands down.
As if children need any more like prompts to get them into anime. You know?
Right? Yeah.
Start them younger.
Yeah.
Right. For TV show, he said The Boys. Had been wanting to start this show for so long, and the wife and I finally did this year. Didn't think she would love it too much, but we both really enjoyed the show. The concept is interesting and constantly leaves you on your toes. Yes, that show is insane. We love The Boys. And for game, he had Dark Souls. He says, I know, not Pokemon, but Pokemon is the obvious answer. It's more surprising if I didn't enjoy Pokemon game. But with Dark Souls, it seemed like a game that I couldn't ever possibly beat, but with some dedication, I did, which was so fun. Plus, it has me hooked on the genre, and now I'm on the journey to play them all.
Yes.
So you got another convert, Chad.
Yes,
another
finally.
Lots of
convert.
Slowly.
Lots of little like +1s to my like Sekiro meter. Like he's he's like the dedication, which I did, which was so fun. I'm like, +1 to the Sekiro play. Like all the hints are out there.
Yeah. So there's our first answer, The Boy. What category of ours would you like to tackle first, guys?
Movie, because it's the worst.
All right, Chad, why don't you start us off with your movie of the year for 2022?
Okay, you want my movie or honorable mentions first?
Why not? Okay, so how I did this is Nick came up with the idea of having nominees. Like he threw out that idea. I don't know if he actually did it, but I always have a hard time picking things, as you all know. So I came up with nominees. I have my pick, and then I have honorable mentions that weren't in my nominees or my pick. So do it however you like.
Okay, so you want me to rattle off my nominees, my nominees, and just do it that way?
Yeah, that works.
Okay, yeah. So I have 3 nominees. Number 1 is The Batman, in no particular order, obviously. Don't Worry, Darling, which was like a total shock to me. I don't know if anybody has watched that, but if you like Black Mirror, you should totally check that movie out. I know there was like a lot of drama around the offset stuff going on in that movie that kind of diminished it a little bit, but really good movie with a really cool twist at the end. And then Jujutsu Kaisen 0, which is a movie that Brady and I have been waiting what seems like a year to watch, which is a prequel movie to Jujutsu Kaisen that we did an episode on. It's an anime. Those are my 3 nominees.
Ooh, all right. So what's your pick?
Oh, you want my pick immediately? Okay.
Yeah.
It's The Batman for sure. I couldn't get around it. I think that I don't know. I just really like the darkness of it. It felt very Arkham-like. Paul Dano's Riddler absolutely rivals Heath Ledger's Joker to me.
I might even say better.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say that, but every time I say it, people are like, "Oh no, you're crazy." But yes, I think for my money, I think it's better. And then Pattinson, yeah, man, he did a great Batman. I don't know that he really got any hate for his Batman. Maybe he did, but I think he did great. So that's my winner.
I know there was a lot of apprehension beforehand.
Right. Yeah,
but I think Robert Pattinson is one of those actors that is just like in people's mind typecast to Twilight. Like I don't think he's so good in like
the range
everything that he's in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But the average moviegoer who doesn't watch a ton of movies or watch some of the smaller indie stuff, all they're gonna think about is Twilight. And it's just like,
I mean, he's good in that.
You guys
too.
are missing like on so many good movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, good pick. The Batman, not bad. I've what was the one, Darling something or other?
Don't Worry, Darling.
Yes, that's been on my list to try to check out. I'm very interested in that movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie, dude. It's a great ride. It's got a really cool twist, and like I said, if you like Black Mirror and the premise of Black Mirror, it's totally worth the watch because it feels like a Black Mirror episode, honestly.
Nice. Perfect, Nick.
Just gonna say, Batman, like doing a Batman movie. I don't know if it's more akin to like the Olympics or just like a competitive art, because I don't know, like you just have to swing for the fences and just try to top the last one. You know what I mean? Like everyone sets like a new bar, kind of. It's weird the way Batman fits into like cinema.
Yeah,
more than any other kind of like superhero. It's just crazy.
Plus, like the Olympics, you have a new reboot every 4 years.
Exactly. Yep. But it doesn't get old. Like everyone still watches it.
Yep.
And for some reason might probably love it more than the last. Man, movie. Yeah, crazy. So like I could probably name 3 movies that I've seen this year. Period. So I'm a cop out on this one. But it's not a total cop out because it's, I think, legitimately good and interesting. And that would be Glass Onion, the second Knives Out iteration.
You've watched it already?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Hot off the press.
Good. Better than the first? As good as the first?
You know, it might be more creative, dynamic than the first. And that's something that continuously amazes me about Rian Johnson, is his ability to play into his own style and continuously like push that. Like that's his thing. Like do the unexpected and subvert your expectations, blah, blah, blah. Right. Everything people hated The Last Jedi for. And it's just crazy how I sit there and I'll watch Knives Out and I'm continuously like humored and enjoying the weird introspection he does. But yet when he does that to like The Last Jedi, it just like confirms in my mind, like, correct, but you don't do that with Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's just weird how that works. I'm like, I see what you do. I get what you do. I like what you do, but like, it just doesn't work with Star Wars. So, I just always think that's just like a fun thing about him, because there's certain movies like that really works with, and those Knives Out ones, like he just has a ton of fun. I can tell. Like I don't, maybe I think it's like very serious for him, but he has. I mean, to me as a director, like he must have a ton of fun setting that all up. And obviously, Daniel Craig is awesome. Dave Bautista is awesome in that. So
yeah,
it's Edward Norton. A lot of good stuff going on.
Great
there.
cast.
Yeah, great little story too. Like it's fun. Like that's just a good movie. So yeah, that's my movie. I've seen like 3 movies, and
well, you Rian Johnsoned me here with this pick.
Boom.
Yeah, very fitting. You know, always have your rule of 2 when picking things. So what was your butt?
Because it's the movie category, I didn't really have a butt. Maybe the Batman. I guess. I can't ever remember like any movies I've seen.
Yeah.
Because also every time I go to attempt to watch a movie, I'm like, what is the value in this? Like I'm just going
I'd rather watch 3 episodes of a show.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd rather watch 6 Dragon Ball episodes. Like that does more for my like long term than like watching a one-off movie. That's just how I kind of look at it.
Understandable. Yeah. I've fallen off the movie train myself too.
Mass conversion.
I mean, it honestly is because like I have to be in the mood for a short story. Because that's what a movie is. Like it's
short
not like
story, underdeveloped characters.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. And I just find myself more interested in the long form storytelling of a series. So yeah, I totally get it. This was the hardest category of the three for me to even like think of what movies I've watched outside of one or two. Um, but thanks to Nick, I Googled the movies from 2022 and realized that I've watched at least five. So
That's a decent nominee list.
here are the nominees. Spiderhead, which was a Netflix original with Chris Hemsworth and Miles Teller, which was really interesting. The Batman, of course, went and saw that with the Showboys Movie Club. Biosiv and I went. I believe that was the first movie that the Showboys Movie Club attended. I saw Uncharted, actually. The second movie that the Showboys Movie Club attended, Nope.
Nope.
And I just had to put that as a nominee because I've seen it. Like that's how
Yeah.
few movies I've watched this year.
Yeah.
I didn't particularly care for it too much. Though with time, I'll explain that later. It's grown on me a little bit. And then lastly, Bone Tomahawk, not a 2022 movie, but a movie that we watched this year for our Spooktober episodes. Really great movie. We talked about it in whatever that episode was. Thumbnail is right down here in the bottom left corner of the screen. Really enjoyed that movie. My pick, the winner, of course, it's similar, Chad. It's the Batman, like no questions asked, like head and shoulders above every other movie on the list.
Yeah.
Pattinson was an amazing Batman. And another side note, we could do an entire episode on just Bale, Affleck, and Pattinson are all great Batmans, and they all play Batman in a different stage of their Batman career.
Right.
And they're so great. And each one of those three is such a great take on the character. And Pattinson's like rookie Batman is so good. It's so good. And I believe Jordan and I did an episode on the Batman. And just like Chad, you're saying the dark factor of it, the almost like horror-esque play into like the criminals fearing Batman and like being in the shadows and like all that. It was so good. It was so good. The Riddler, I think, probably better than the Joker. Not saying that that's nothing. That's not a downplay of Heath Ledger's Joker. Obviously, that's an iconic villain. But Dano just destroyed the Riddler. It was so good.
Once again,
honorable
it's like
mentions.
the Olympics, like it's a high score, and then there's just a slightly higher score.
Exactly.
Like,
It's just a new record.
You all got the gold medal. Like
Exactly. Honorable mentions are movies that I wish I would have watched, but didn't get around to it. I'll add one, the whatever Darling movie that I can't remember it again.
The third time. Don't worry, darling.
Don't worry, darling. I wish I would have watched that. I wish I would have watched, much to Chad's chagrin, The Northman. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once looked really, really interesting. And Bullet Train actually looked really good with Brad Pitt and Chris Tyree Henry and all those other people. It looked funny and action packed. But yeah, Batman is my pick. And yeah, movies. I'm glad
my second one.
What was that?
Thor Ragnarok.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I almost put that on the list too because I haven't seen many movies this year.
Is there a list for movies that you wish you didn't see?
Right.
Can we sneak that in there? Yeah, can we sneak that?
Well,
Love and Thunder in there somewhere.
Yeah, there's how my sorry, not Ragnarok. Yeah, Love and Thunder. Ragnarok's really good. But I did catch up on a lot of all the Marvel movies this year. So like Shang-Chi, and a few other ones that I hadn't, like Black Widow. But I just kind of discount the MCU from like award shows.
Yeah.
Well, dude,
I would agree.
It's funny that you say that because I was going to comment the exact opposite. Like this year, the Batman was and Thor because we did an episode on Thor, but those were the only 2 superhero movies I watched all year. The only superhero content I got were the Disney Plus series that we covered on the podcast. So I think it's official. Superhero fatigue has set in for me because there were a lot of superhero movies that came out. Black Adam, of course, Shang-Chi. There were Black Panther 2, Doctor Strange. A lot of
Spider-Man's
coming out.
Chad, no Spider-Man. That was what I thought you were gonna pick.
No, that came out last year.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right.
It was
at the
very
end.
late.
Like
it was December 25th. Yeah.
Nuts, crazy.
Yeah. What else was I going? There was one other point.
Batman Power Rank episode. Let's do it,
dude. Honestly, that would be a very fun episode.
Yeah, that would be hard.
It would be very hard.
Blood would be drawn.
I feel like it wouldn't be that difficult, to be honest.
Maybe not. We surprisingly went through the Star Wars one pretty okay.
Easy,
we went through that unscathed, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Subverted some expectations, got some haters. But we all agreed, and that's what matters.
It's phrase of the segment, subverting expectations.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, so glad we knocked out movie first, because at least my nominees for show and game of the year for my picks, they're packed with a lot of very hard decisions for me.
Oh, really? I kept mine pretty to three a pop, 3 a category. I might have 4 in a couple shows. I might have 4 shows, maybe more games. I don't know.
Rule 2.
Yeah.
Well, what do you say we bring on our first guest?
Who dat?
We got BioCiv coming on here. What's up, my friend? You were supposed to be joined by our other stream team member, Peace Love Ames, but unfortunately she is on call tonight and actually got called into work. So if she's able to send me her list of her picks, I'll read them out on the show. If not, we'll post them in Discord somewhere. But yes, welcome, Civ. How you doing tonight, dude?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Perfect.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. Little disappointed. Amy couldn't join us. Truthfully, I really wanted to do the thing at the same time because it was a year ago we brought her onto the team.
That is right.
I wanted to ask her a bunch of questions about how she was feeling about the team and where she is now, and if she wants to continue.
Well, she's at work now. That's where. No.
I'm oddly
to the Ames interview.
Yeah. I'm more curious about what happens to all our videos with a 5th person. Like, where'd she go? Does she go in the middle?
Well, hey, let's try it out. We're pulling Dad on screen.
Dad,
here.
pop in here. Does it even? Oh, look at this.
Oh,
actually, what am I talking about? We already know this is Dungeons and Dragons.
I was just gonna say.
There you go. Yeah, you're right.
Dungeons and Dragons.
It's the D&D.
Yep.
I like being in the middle.
We'll see it.
Okay.
I kind of like that Brady Bunch lineup.
Yeah. Well, no, you bring up a good point. One of the notable moments for the brand this year was growing our stream team. We made 3 additions in 2022 to the Showboys stream team. Of course, BioCiv being the first back in 2021. Or were you in 2022 also? I don't remember. It's been a while.
21.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, we added Peace Love Ames, of course. Ugly Kid Joe Cross, who's probably still lurking in the comments while he's supposed to be working. And most recently, Kumino the Don.
I am so glad you said Kumino's name.
I've been practicing, man. I've been practicing. Yeah, because I want to say Kumino. No,
you say Kumano.
Kumano is what I want to say.
But don't say Kumano.
Yes. But us Mikes, we got to stick together. So I figured I'd need to learn his screen name. But yeah, we grew the stream team quite a bit, and we're very excited about that. All of these new streaming partners, great people, really good content creators, and we're just really, really glad to be working side by side with all of you guys, including you, Sid. Even you, we still love working with you
After all these years.
for some reason. No,
Wow,
I'm
Mike.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm just come on. I'm coach, okay?
Yeah. Come on.
Do you have any like favorite moments from your stream from 2022? Anything that comes to mind for Civ and your streaming platform or career this year? Anything fun or exciting happen? Any game in particular that you're like, I can't believe I finally streamed that, or whatever?
No, truthfully, 2022 wasn't a big game year for me. Oh, I was definitely very excited and happy to play Sifu. Chad, um I'm embarrassed, brother. I never got my platinum.
Really? Oh, bro, you got to get on that. What are you missing? You're missing
I
something. I can't remember what it was though.
It's just killing the boss
At
under
20.
25.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can do it, but to take
Dude,
the
that's gotta be
time
such
to
a thorn in
relearn
your
the
side. Yeah.
skills, it takes, like 2 weeks to retrain.
Right.
So
Yep. Absolutely.
I
That's
don't have
wild.
that time, man.
Channel
And
your Neo, your inner Neo. Just get there.
Yeah.
right,
I think they
and
added like a Neo looking outfit in too. They added a bunch of
Oh,
stuff into that game.
what?
did
Yeah.
they, dude?
Yeah.
They messed with all of my extra stuff. They were like, "Hey, you ordered the game early," and I was like, "Yes, I did." And they were like, "Enjoy this outfit," and I was like, "Sweet." And they were like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you can't download this outfit. You suck." And I was
Oh,
like,
really? Yeah, there's like
Why?
I think there's like 2 or 3 deluxe edition outfits.
"Yeah, it's the
Now.
white outfit," and
Yeah.
then, dude, they didn't let me get none of it. They didn't let me get my CD. They didn't let me get the deluxe outfits. They were like, "Beat the game. Show
Yeah.
us that you
Yeah.
deserve it."
Platinum the game, and then you can have this stuff.
Yeah.
Ouch.
That's great. That reminds me of my triggering game moment of the year, and that was when I realized that my Control Ultimate Edition was not actually the Ultimate Edition.
Oh, yeah.
It was like the PS4 remake that was ported to Steam that was called the Ultimate Edition because it was remade for PS5 or
I
something.
felt so bad for you, dude.
And then, even worse, because I was like, whatever, I love this game so much. I'll buy the DLC. I don't even care. I just want to play it more. They don't even sell the DLC on Steam anymore. So if I want to play the DLC, I have to buy the game again on Epic, beat it again on Epic, and then buy the DLC.
Yep.
This is like Mike's most inefficient nightmare.
It really is, man. It's so, man, now I'm all angry.
Wait, and wasn't it just like in the past week it was free to download on?
It doesn't even matter because I'd have to play it all again. I don't want to play it again
Okay.
because I'm so angry that it's
He's
taking any
sensitive,
joy
Sid.
of playing that game
Just
out of my
leave it.
body.
I'll leave it
Sensitive
alone.
topic. Sensitive topic.
But yeah, so we do have a pre-recorded video that Ugly Kid Joe Cross made of his picks. So let's go ahead and play that real quick, and then we'll get to your picks, Civ.
Run it.
And then we'll wrap up this segment before we have our next set of guests come on with Kumino's picks that he sent me in Discord. So without further ado, Dad, if you could please roll the Ugly Kid Joe Cross.
Beautiful bean
video,
footage.
please.
Hello, my friends. Ugly Kid Joe Cross here with my wonderful grandson.
Beluga boy.
And sorry we couldn't be on the live show tonight, but we wanted to make a video that would go through our picks so everybody would know what our favorite series and shows and all of those things are for this year. I will start off with my favorite game of the year. My favorite game of the year was Horizon Forbidden West. Absolutely loved it. Love Horizon Zero Dawn. It was a perfect sequel, and I'm really excited for DLC and the future of this franchise. Gary Lee, what was your favorite game of the year?
Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic Frontiers.
And what did you like about it?
I liked how fast you could be. I liked the bosses because I like the moves too. Like how there's this ability where you hold triangle and then you go around someone and it hurts them. And I like the new ability I just got in the game where you can send spheres at people.
Yeah, he just started playing this just a few days ago, and it's already his favorite game. So we'll have more updates about that in the future.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next we're going to move on to favorite. Wrong button. Favorite movie. Do you want to do your movie first?
You do yours.
All right, my favorite movie of the year. I was not expecting this. Was The Batman, who's over there now.
Batman.
This was not a good year for movies. I didn't think there was too many good movies that came out this year. And so my wife and I went to see this, and I was just thoroughly surprised by everything. The acting, the scenery, the music, the way the music just tied this whole movie together was wonderful. And so I definitely recommend it. Robert Pattinson did not let us down, as I kind of thought he was going to, but it was amazing. All right, what was your favorite movie of the year?
The new Minions movie. I like this movie because it is different than all the other Minions movies because it's like the Minions movie, but it's a sequel to that instead of a different one. So I like how there's this one part where the Minions make sad faces at Gru because they want to be in the house, and then they use a sprinkler as rain to make it sad.
Yeah, that was funny.
And I like the villain in the movie. I like that it's a card 70s thingy.
Yeah.
And
it's an era piece.
Yeah, and I like how they made the ice cream part like the first movie.
Yeah, I honestly, when I first said they were making this movie, I thought it was just going to be a giant cash grab and it was going to be terrible just so people would go see it. And I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
It might be my favorite Minions movie.
It probably.
I think it might be.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. All right, and then Gary Lee does not have a favorite series this year because he doesn't watch TV.
I do watch TV.
What's your favorite series then?
That I've watched for the first time.
Yeah.
Like a cartoon.
It could be.
Probably Jimmy Neutron, to be honest.
The kid likes Jimmy Neutron. I'm not going to fault him for liking Jimmy Neutron. Have I ever seen an episode of Jimmy Neutron? No.
Well, I like it because it's a boy that has a big brain. And
So it's like me.
yeah, and it's I like it because he makes inventions and then in the middle of the show, in the middle of the episode, he just does it wrong and then he fixes it.
Well, he should do it right the first time. Jimmy Neutron, everybody. My favorite season or series to watch this year has been The Chosen. This is one series, if you've never seen it, it is amazing. It is a depiction of the life of Jesus, and it gives all of the characters from the Bible so much flavor and flair and just really gives you a different perspective on the stories. And this is a show that my wife and I just can't miss it. Every time she's like, okay, Chosen came out today. Chosen came out today. And I actually didn't start watching this until season 2. And I had to go back and binge watch all of season 1. And laughter, tears, all of that stuff. This show brings it. And so that's all I have. Thank you, Showboys, for letting me be a member of your stream team this year. And thank you, Beluga Boy, for being so wonderful and helping me with my Twitch streams.
Yeah.
And I guess we will see you guys next year.
Mm-hmm.
And looking forward to more games, more movies, more shows. And thank you guys so much. Beluga Boy, do you have anything you would like to say to the Showboys or to the people watching the video?
I tried a baguette for the first time this year.
He tried a baguette for the first time
Oh,
this
it
year.
was garlic flavored too.
Garlic baguettes, everybody. Bye, Floppa friends.
Bye, Floppa friends.
Bruh.
Bruh.
Quote
that
of
was
the year.
awesome.
I tried a baguette for the first
Yeah.
time this year. Like when I watched that before we went live, and I was like, tears were rolling down my face.
There are so many legendary things said in that like short 2 minutes. That
Beluga
was
Boy
fantastic.
is a legend. He is.
Floppa floppa.
That's
Dude.
right. If you've watched any of Joe's streams, big chunk of those streams during the summer were Roblox with Beluga Boy, and that kid is hysterical. Like
For real.
so
No
funny.
doubt.
So funny.
I call him a legend like in the first like 30 seconds, and then like he ends with baguettes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The baguette comment. Like that's so awesome.
And like Joe's such a good grandpa. Like
Yeah.
dude just lets him come stream on his channel whenever he wants.
Yeah, like any
chill about it.
Any grandpa that lets you play video games with him,
Yeah.
like, come on, dude. Like,
and
no
like
brainer.
just
No,
watching
not
their
even just
interaction.
play video games with them, but play video games online for other people to watch.
Yeah.
Right,
That
yeah.
is
Yeah,
the coolest grandpa.
But
you
like
know?
even on top of that, like just the way he interacts with Beluga, like during the streams, is like
right,
he's a good gramps.
it's awesome.
I feel like they're a little bit ahead of their time. Like a grandpa with his grandson streaming games
Yeah.
that they're playing together. Like that just seems like 10 years ahead of its time. I don't know. It's
Also,
In the-
if you know, you know, Beluga Boy literally cannot rhyme to save his backpack. And that is like one of the funniest clips on Joe's channel ever. And anytime Joe asks for a word that rhymes with anything, I shout out in all caps, backpack. You just go watch the clip. It's hysterical. Yeah. So thank you, Joe, for making your picks. They're all great picks. I don't think anyone would argue with, of course, the Batman. I mean, come on, 2/3 of the Showboys picked that for their favorite movie.
It's
I know,
unfair.
I know. Chad and Nick loved Horizon. Oh, Chad, Nick, have you actually played Forbidden
Nick-
West?
Yeah, he
Nope.
isn't.
You're gonna love it anyways because you loved Zero
Yeah,
Dawn.
for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Civ, have you played either Zero Dawn or Forbidden West?
Never.
Never.
I've played Zero Dawn, but I kind of rushed through it during stream. I didn't give it the attention it
can't
deserved.
rush, bro.
Not gonna do any Horizon games. It's like
Boycott,
Avatar for me. I'm not gonna watch the Avatar movies. I'm not gonna play Horizon games.
So you're like Mike with Star Wars, but 2 years ago.
Maybe a little
Yeah.
bit.
The hipster hate. I get
Oh.
it. I do that with what? What do I do that with, Mike? You said recently.
Oh, I don't know, but we were just talking about it. Oh shoot, what was it?
I don't know, but you called me out
come.
on it.
Yeah, it'll come. Yeah, that's hilarious. And The Chosen, great series. We have a companion series running on that. They're in the almost the middle of season 3 already. And I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit later. But without further ado, Civ, what are
Awesome.
your picks? We'll start with movie of the year since that's kind of what we started with. But we're gonna get all your picks here.
Give us all the loot.
Okay.
Meditate. Draw deep within.
He's
Nope.
like,
Summon deep within your being and say the Batman.
Nope.
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 Nope. That's the answer. Boom.
Yeah. I'm so shocked to say
I'm so
that.
shocked.
Wait, yeah.
Nope.
Did you not like it?
I thought he didn't like it.
Joe
Nope.
hated it.
Oh,
Oh,
he's the
Joe
one that
hated
liked
it.
it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
I said I needed a second watch. When I took my second watch, I fell in love with it.
Yeah. I think for me, Nope gets the most misunderstood movie of 2022.
Yep.
Because I think it's because of two things: the way they marketed it as a like straight up horror movie, which it was not, and two, coming from Jordan Peele and his history of movies with Get Out and Us being straight up horror movies, which this was not. But I think if I were to rewatch it again, because even thinking about it, not through the lens of horror as just like a weird like thriller mystery
That's
type
what it was, a
movie.
thriller.
It's a great movie. It's really a good movie.
You have to check it out. I wonder if it's on anything.
I kind
Not
of
yet.
took it as like Tremors.
Yeah,
That's what the trailers
yeah,
gave me. They gave me like a Tremors vibe.
yeah. That's a good one.
You're
Not
not
far off.
that wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you really aren't.
Hey, I interpret this stuff for not a living, but as a pastime. So
Yeah, I mean, hey, and Tremors 1 at least was a great movie.
I like
Yes.
Tremors all the way to the ass blasters.
you're sort of looking for an excuse to say ass blasters.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Anyway.
Well, what about series of the year?
Peripheral.
Peripheral.
Dang,
Okay.
Mike hates the Peripheral.
Nah.
Why is
was-
Peripheral your pick? What was it up against? I kind of want to know what it was up against.
I didn't. Snowfall.
Snowfall?
I only started.
I really want to watch Snowfall really bad.
Ooh. Atlanta. That was also
Ooh.
really high on that list.
I still need to
but,
watch the final season of that.
Man, no matter how good Atlanta was, he didn't have his heart in it.
You could tell.
Peripheral is the beginning of a future series, and where we are with technology, it felt very cool. It pushed me to purchase a VR system for my kid.
Whoa.
You know, I have not played his VR set, but the show made me, yeah, I get it. This is where we're going. Let him do his stuff, you know?
Does the Peripheral is this a good description of the Peripheral to people who haven't seen it yet? Ready Player One and Black Mirror had a baby.
Oh my gosh, dude, that sounds freaking amazing.
It
Dad
sounds
is shaking his
amazing,
head
but that is
vigorously
not
in
at
the
all
background.
what this
He's
show is.
headbanging backstage.
No. I wish that would be sweet, but no. It's neither of those technically. It's somebody has a VR headset that connects them to a future realm where all these things have already happened, and they control technically a automaton in that time, and they can do all sorts of video game stuff, you know, Assassin's Creed, climb walls, flip off of things, you know,
Yeah.
silent crawl across everything, you know. But those things that are happening in the future are, it's weird to really think about it. Those things that are happening there have already happened in the past because they did it then. And so all these people are trying to
Is that accurate,
control
Bio?
The Matrix
what's going
meets
on
Ender's Game.
in the past. Yes, Joe, you got it.
Man, Joe's the
Oh,
goat.
Interesting, because that also sounds pretty amazing. And I love I mean, I like any of the VR stuff. Ready Player One's one of my favorite movies.
Ready Player One
So I
was
might
a
have to check
great
this out.
movie this
I didn't
year.
know
the
this was a
first time I
VR
saw
thing.
it.
It's on
Yeah.
Prime Video, by the way. But yeah, we'll ask Dad to defend the answer he was headbanging to backstage. But yeah, I think
Defend
the
yourself.
Peripheral, it's the start of a series that could be amazing.
Yeah.
There were just some, like, at least how I viewed some of these things, like low tier like show stuff where like some of the dialogue was like super cheesy.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like I like shoot, I forget the actress's name who plays the main character. I think she did pretty good. I thought their accents were terrible and it
Chloe.
like really
Oh, see,
drew me
that
out.
kills. Oh, that kills it for me then.
But like the premise is super interesting. Like
No, this is
super
just
interesting.
season one. Season one of
Yeah.
every series is always pretty.
Yeah.
Is it like
It's like
The
that-
Expanse?
It's like that preteen awkward stage here.
Yeah. They get
Um,
into the second season and they really get into their stride.
mhm. Yeah, I watched the entire season, so I'm ready for season 2, and I'll watch it when it comes out. I think I overhyped the series in my own mind before watching it, and then when I watched it, I was like, "Ooh, I thought this was going to be just a little bit better quality." But they have the building blocks are there. Like it has the potential to be a great story. One question before we go to games. For Atlanta, could you tell Donald's heart was not in it? Like, did it show through?
I was telling you, man, he really showed this last season. It was rushed. He wasn't in half of the season. He didn't his heart wasn't in it, man. And like I talked to you in the final episode, he said, I really didn't enjoy making this show, but I think I'm gonna miss making it.
Whoa. Okay.
Do you remember that?
No, I get that, and I think a lot of that has to do with his constant dealing with like the public perception of the show, because like people really struggle to understand that show, right? Like people think it's a comedy, people don't understand why it isn't a comedy. They compare it to things like Dave, whereas
That's-
like it has this incredible many layers of like nuanced. In the one article where they talk about the Afro surrealism of it,
Yeah.
like that's where it like really steps out and lets
That's
you
exactly
understand
it.
like the
It's a
premise.
blaxploitation show.
Yeah,
He specifically made it so that people would understand the cultural differences.
Mhm.
And
well, in his mind, he's making a very like serious like thing, but it
Right.
comes off and everyone's like, "Why isn't it funny anymore?"
and that's the problem. It's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
There's humorous parts in it, of course, because that's
Mm.
like a lot of ways how people like deal with realities like that. But then like the underlying premise is like it's not really funny. It's kind of like
Yeah.
sad.
And
Serious.
yeah,
Let
messed
me
up.
ask you a question, Nick. When was the last time you watched the music video? This is America.
Oh, it's a great music video.
Probably like 2 months ago.
Ah, perfect. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just watched it just a couple of weeks ago, and it's like, yeah, if you aren't keeping up with it, it's like you almost forget.
Yeah.
This is what's really going on.
That
People kind of
remember-
like to ignore the they see the abrasive things in that video and they just kind of ignore it and look at the not abrasive things in that video, and that's like exactly the point.
Right. Yep.
Whereas like I watched that video, I'm like, oh, that's
How do
super
you-
abrasive. I like that.
How
Yeah.
do you ignore the abrasive, the entire thing? Do you ignore the entire video? There's nothing
mean,
not abrasive
People,
in that
dude,
video.
Very
it's
first thing.
crazy. It's the same way, like the scene where like people are on their phones in like sitting up above, like it's that exact scene. So
Yeah.
like you can be looking right at something, but because the sound, the music is like good, uplifting, the way it's like composed,
Dude.
it doesn't matter what you're seeing. You can see
Yeah.
all of the like violence, anything in the world, and it doesn't matter.
Brilliant
And that's why
song.
there's a bunch of dancing during the
Yes,
music
dude.
video. It's to trick your mind. Hey, this
Yeah.
is that vibe.
Yeah.
Like, let's go.
It is an absolute masterclass in in brilliance of songwriting, crafting a song to deliver every intent that you put into it. Like it's executed perfectly. The music video is one of the best pieces of art I think I've seen in music. Like I watched the video like hours after it was released because during that time I was like really into Gambino, like
Yeah.
really. And first watch, like jaw hits the ground, like eyes are kind of watery, and I'm like, this literally is going to change
Yeah.
things. Like this is a very important music video.
Yeah.
He really did that same
Yeah, I
day.
agree.
And yeah, it's great. And I think Atlanta accomplishes a lot of the same things. And I think also exactly what you guys are talking about, people misunderstand it. But yeah, we'll definitely have to do an episode on Atlanta as a whole because Nick and I love that show. I don't know if Chad's ever seen it. I know Civ loves it. But we're
I'm
running out of
surprised
time.
Chad has seen and nods so much to the music video.
Oh yeah, dude, it's fantastic. It's one of the best music videos ever made, if not the best.
Confirmed.
Goat.
Chad likes music and has good taste in music.
There we
so
go.
Now we know this.
Holy cow. All right. Last pick for you, Civ. What is this? This is we're all waiting with bated breath. What is BioCiv's Game of the Year 2022?
You would think Sifu. As much as I played that, but it's actually Valheim.
Expectations subverted. Very
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm
makes sense,
scared
though.
to ask your hours in Valheim on Steam.
341.
Oh
In
my
this year?
gosh, dude, that doubles my Persona 5 time. Oh, more than doubles my Persona 5
Yeah.
time, which was absurd. for a game.
341 for Valheim this year.
Wow.
I don't know what happened. This game,
Valheim happened. We've done
man.
two full episodes on Valheim. So if anyone understands Civ, it's us. We understand.
Thank you.
It's easy.
Mr. 411 hour over here. Like, I understand, man. Like, it happens. But I don't think that was all this year. That's over 2 years.
Yeah.
Well,
I gotta check mine.
Look, so what happened was
303 for myself.
I
300.
lost my armor, my sweet serpent shield, when my computer was having issues
Oh yeah, I
because
remember
of the
this.
power supply.
Yeah.
The power supply.
Right? So the power supply died and I lost all of my equipment. And so I had to start rebuilding everything. And in doing so, I have made myself a Viking, one who cannot be tussled with. Mess with me!
I've seen your map with all of your death icons.
Each death is a level up.
Lesson learned. Yes. I'm not as surprised by that as you might think that we would have been.
I'm utterly shocked by it, actually.
No, I've seen and have appreciated behind the scenes your dedication to Valheim. Because I understand when it's still early access, but like when it first released, man, that hook was so deep in me. Like I get it.
Look, we saw it was in July. All of us had a rise in Valheim play time. Now, beyond that, Nick, just recently, you watched how hardcore I got into it. I was taking down some bosses and
I hear legendary things about you these days.
That's what they say.
The legend of BioCiv is echoing through the great halls.
Joe
Valhalla.
Cross cannot tell a lie, and he
No,
only speaks
no, he
truth.
cannot. But Mike, Nick watched me take down a.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that was
what was it?
legendary.
An abomination and a troll with a tree.
Nice.
Siv's just trying to like stroll through the swamp. Everything attacks him. Abomination attacks him. A bunch of other things attack him. Then a troll shows up, kills the abomination, tries to kill
him. They didn't want me to leave,
dude. That's one of the best things about Valheim. Just the organic, like
randomness,
crazy things that happen.
Organic, random, but like you get nothing tangible out of all of that chaos other than like
a lot of stress.
A lot of stress to like prove it to yourself.
One
like,
other person looks at you and you go, "Yes, I did it."
You just look around like the mess and you're just like, yeah, that's right, game. Nothing.
Yeah.
Yes. Dude,
the next level of Civ's Valheim Ascension will be when he learns to master the recruitment of troll workers. That's where you take Valheim to the next level, where you
misunderstand.
You let the trolls
Valheim.
mine and chop your wood for you.
I become Ultra Instinct. I become Goku in Ultra Instinct.
When it comes to mining, I have Ultra Instinct because I don't run out of stamina while mining. Level up, Mike.
All right. Well, we got a few minutes before our next set of guests come on, and we have to read Kumino's picks. So, Civ, you're more than welcome to stay for the next couple minutes. But if you need to get off, that's also cool too. So it's up to you. Kumino, where did I put them on my list? Here they are. Okay. So Kumino's picks here. Unfortunately, wasn't able to join us live. He just moved into a new house, so he's still trying to get everything set up. Top movie of the year: Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings.
Not a bad choice.
Show of the year: 200.
Yes, I think it should be 200.5 because he did mute for like half of the one. So
yeah,
I think you should at least get a 0.5.
I've been trying. I'm trying so hard. I just got this throat thing. I mean, obviously, I've had a throat thing for like
2.5.
Oh, there it is.
Okay. Show of the year for Kumino: Stranger Things. Can't argue. Hard to argue with that. That was great season this year that came out. And then his game of the year pick, I will 100% argue with because I don't agree with it. I think it's terrible. But hey, to each their own. Game of the year from Kumino: Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
I knew it.
Wow.
Come on.
I mean, I figured it would be Pokemon.
That's
did
blind
not think it'd be
love
Scarlet
there.
and Violet. I did not think it'd be Scarlet and Violet.
Blind love.
The games are garbage, and it saddens my heart. But I'm glad. You know what? Kumino had a ton of fun playing it. Peace, Love, Ames had a ton of fun playing it. Joe begrudgingly bought it and played it, even though he was hating on it hard pre-release. Ended up loving it and playing it.
About it.
Jared from Play Along Podcast, he enjoyed it. I cannot get into it. I've tried. I'm like maybe halfway through, and it's just
something's wrong with you. If they all liked it,
yeah, I was gonna say
that's the Pokemon squad.
I don't know. I didn't play any of it, but I've watched quite a bit of coverage on it, and I think I'm
not fair. If you're not playing the game, you have no opinion.
I know, but dude, that game is broken beyond recognition.
It's it's okay. Here's my quick explanation because we gotta. Well, I mean, I guess our next guest isn't here yet, but my reasoning behind this game and Legends Arceus were obviously in development at the same time because they both came out this year. Like, there's no way that they made Legends Arceus and then developed maybe there is because Scarlet and Violet are broken. Like,
yeah, right.
Bad. Maybe they did make this game in 9 months, but that probably is not the case. So these games were in development in tandem. And Pokemon Legends Arceus went through the roof with revamping the mechanics of Pokemon, everything in that game was a brand new mechanic that they tried and demoed. And I think what happened was they were unsure how that was going to be received. So they only like partially implemented things from Arceus into Scarlet and Violet, and not just in the way of like they only included like half of those mechanics. It's like they included like 30% of those mechanics, and then of those mechanics that they included, they only included like 15% of said mechanic. So like you could tell that they were testing stuff out with Legends and were very apprehensive of how they were going to be received, so they didn't fully implement those in Scarlet and Violet. So Scarlet and Violet is just doo-doo, but it makes me think that the next Gen 10 should be fire, because they should see everyone loved Arceus. Not a lot of people love Scarlet and Violet, so hopefully they just implement everything that was cool from Arceus. Fully.
It's gonna take a return to a Japanese like setting for me to ever come back. Like I don't want to see whatever Europe in Sword and Shield and whatever this was, Ireland or some bullcrap.
It's like Spain.
Spain, that's what it was. Yeah,
there.
Spain. Yeah, like I don't want that. Sorry.
I have no idea what Nick's talking about in our chat, but yeah, that's my little spiel there. We do have some comments. I don't know if they've been up on screen
good
yet,
breakout sessions, guys, on individual games. Clearly, that's our strong suit. It's talking about games. No, we had some good ones on shows too.
Yeah. Cozy says, I've been battered enough by enough trolls. Not sure why I haven't thought of that. I think he's talking about the recruiting and enslaving the trolls to mine and chop your wood for you. It's brilliant because it's way faster. You save durability on your item, and you can just jump around while trolls smash stuff for you.
Until you have captured a 2-star troll in a pit.
That is it.
And made it your personal pet. You ain't there yet.
And then Joe says, I don't think Scarlet and Violet is better than Arceus. Good. But you do like Scarlet and Violet. You've put a lot of time into it. You've 100%ed the game, which is awesome. You know, I'm glad everyone's enjoying the games that they're enjoying. I'm just sad that I'm not one that enjoys that one, because I was excited.
See, Mike's actually just sad. We're getting to the root of the issue. He's sad he doesn't enjoy a Pokemon game. It's not you guys, it's him.
It is. It's me. Our next guests are here. So Civ, thank you so much for joining us and letting us know your picks for a movie, show, and game of the year. And thank you for our continued partnership. It's been a blast doing things, creating content with you. And I just thank you for being a part of Show Boys.
Hey, thank you for having me on tonight.
Let's Valheim soon.
Enjoy the rest of your show, guys.
Indeed. Thank you. So we got 2 new guests coming on here for the next 30 minutes or so.
What?
And we're going to be welcoming some familiar faces. Jordan here, and
we were on from Bio, who's like really far away, and then Jordan.
And then Jordan's like really close up. Yeah, that's great.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great.
Thanks. Thanks for joining us, Jordan.
No, thanks for having me. It's exciting.
I like this view of 5 because we can see the thumbnails.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
The thumbnails are a little epileptic.
Gets lost, but you can see John Cena's pecs.
Crazy high def quilt.
Yeah.
Yes. I want to take one moment here to appreciate Nick and Dad for the epic work they do on our thumbnails. I feel like our thumbnails this year have just been straight fire, and
it's mostly him.
Yeah.
Hey, you've done a few too, especially for Showboys Gaming. You've done some great ones. So yeah, kudos to you guys. Thank you for making some amazing thumbnails for us. But yeah,
that'll be $300.
I think you got confused, Jeff. I don't think
that'll be $300.
They had the 300, but they had it actually invested in FTX.
Too soon.
About 10 years. 10 years, you'll get it.
Yeah. So yeah, let's see what's going on here. Let's get an off-screen pick for you guys before we get to Jeff and Jordan. And I had James from the nerdybible.com, who I've been doing the Chosen Companion series with. I had him submit his movie show and game of the year picks. But also, not only am I doing the companion series with James for the Chosen, but he is also the one who has built and is helping us maintain our website, showboysmedia.com. So thank you, James, for that. We launched the website this year, which we'll talk about a little later. But thank you for all your help with that, and doing the Chosen Companion series has been a blast doing that with you. And his picks for tonight, he for movie of the year, it's probably recency bias, but he had Spirited for his movie of the year 2022. It's the Christmas Carol take with Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell. I believe it's a Netflix movie. His pick for show of the year, Rings of Power, and his pick for game of the year, Stardew Valley, which is a game that I've really wanted to play for quite some time. Still haven't gotten around to it, but there you go. Thank you, James, for submitting those. Yeah. Jeff, how are you doing tonight? I didn't ask you how you were.
Thanks. I'm good.
Are you
Don't sound good.
Are you less sad than you were last week?
He sounds more sad.
I'm really sad now because you won't call me dad.
Oh, sad. Can you explain the sadness from last week? And there's a picture of you floating around with tears.
Yeah. So
right.
Before we went live, my youngest daughter Mila came down and drew on my cheeks some tears
with a marker.
Yeah, with a marker. And then I'd tried getting them off my face, and they were just smeared.
It just looked like your makeup was running. Yeah.
Yeah. Bad tattoo job,
Yeah, it sounds like jail tattoos.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't want to talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. How long did it take for them to come off?
I actually think it was a dry erase marker. It wasn't an actual permanent marker.
You also had a sticker on your face too. You were a hot mess.
I have it right here.
Oh yeah, put that back on.
Nice.
There, now I recognize you.
Now
you look good with face. You look good with face tats. Try it out, post.
You look good with face.
One thing we can definitely guarantee tonight is that Jeff does not have oily skin.
Yeah.
Still sticks.
There you go.
Jordan goes to put that on, and it just falls.
It just slides right off.
Down with, my eye.
Yeah. So Jordan, if you weren't aware, we're making our movie show and game of the year picks tonight. So let's just get right into it. Jordan, since there's two of you, let's go category by category first. So we'll do movie of the year first for you two, and then we'll move on to the next category, etc. So
Jeff,
Jordan,
Jeff.
Movie of the year. Do you have any nominees or honorable mentions, or did you just go straight with just your movie of the year?
We talking to me or Jeff now?
You.
Okay. So, I'd probably just go straight to the movie of the year. But there's probably, there's a lot of different categories you could probably go into to having different movies. But there's a clear winner for me.
Does it rhyme with
Catman?
The Fat Man.
Catman, yeah, absolutely.
Which, by the way, I rewatched that during Christmas, and that's a
Fat
staple.
Man? So
Christmas
good.
time. Fat Man.
So good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Violent Night was actually pretty good too. So.
Yeah, still haven't seen that. Heard it's great.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to watching that. But yeah, so the Batman. Do you have anything to add to what Chad and I have already said about the Batman? I would love to hear. You're much more versed in, of course, the comics side of things. I know you're a big DC guy and Batman. So yeah, let us know why.
What adding to what you said, what'd you say? Was this one of your guys' picks as well?
We thought Pattinson was good. We liked the darkness. We thought the Riddler was great. The kind of horror-ish vibe surrounding the mystery of Batman to the criminals and such.
Yeah, what I would say what the Batman did to Batman cinema is that you felt like he was a crazy person. You know, it wasn't just super angry, it wasn't just super, trying to be dark. He was nuts. He was as crazy as the people that he was beating the piss out of. And it is everything from the intro of the narration, the Batman narration on it, to having opening on Halloween, to him walking simply out of the darkness, to beating the guy to death almost. It's I said it before. I think when the movie first came out, it's probably my favorite, like 10, 15 minutes of any movie opening.
Yes.
Second,
Absolutely.
probably a runner up is Lion King. Truthfully.
The thing is, he's probably being dead serious though.
Yeah, I am, and it's Muppet Christmas Carol's up there too. To be honest with you,
yeah, dude, that's
It's a
good.
goat.
Yeah,
Status.
yeah, it is. I look forward to that universe and what happens with it, the Gotham verse.
Yep,
Gotverse.
I agree.
Perfect. Did you have any other like ones that gave the Batman a run for its money, or was it a pretty like clear
Hot
cut
contenders.
decision for you?
Who you got?
Love
and Thunder. Come on.
Down Under.
Down Under, Love and Thunder.
Trying to
Russell Crowe's skirt. Let's see it.
Thor Love and Thunder was nowhere near a thought. I actually forgot about it.
That's where it's best. The forgotten memories.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to even talk to you guys about that. I didn't even want to.
It's not even worth it. It's not even worth the discussion, to be honest.
No, like I was sitting there and I was like, what movies like contended with this? And
dude, everyone has this problem.
There were some good movies, right? When it comes to like just straight action films, and I know it's just another DC thing, but it's Black Adam's like the action in it was so good. Just seeing like a superpower guy just throwing a bunch of militants around, and just the insanity of it was so. Dr. Fate was so good in that. Yeah, definitely a good year for DC in that aspect. But yeah, honestly, the two DC movies, it's not surprising, right? But those two come to mind. Spirited was really good. I got to be honest with you on that. I liked. You guys all saw Spirited, right?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Nope,
Excellent.
no
Good
one.
talk. Good talk.
Good talk. The Adam Project. I saw that movie.
Another Ryan Reynolds
Deadpool.
flick on Netflix.
Oh yeah,
Deadpool movie.
Is that one of those movies where he plays the same person, just like the Rock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird, right? Like it's weird.
Ryan Reynolds.
Like, hey, Ryan
typecast?
Reynolds is
No
here.
way.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Strange.
All the same person.
Even in
all
the
right.
mobile commercials, I swear to God, it's the same.
Yeah, I think that's
It's
just
true.
him.
Just
Like
him,
he doesn't
yeah.
even act. He
Which
just
is-
reads off
Which
the
is fine,
paper.
which
That's
is
just
fine.
who he is.
I mean, hey, I don't disagree. Batman was amazing. And I'm interested, side note, interested to see what James Gunn and company do with the DC EU now.
Right.
Because it sounds like, Henry Cavill was announced he was coming back to Superman, and then announced that he's no longer coming back as Superman. It seems like Dwayne Johnson and Black Adam stuff is kind of up in the air. I mean, the Batman universe is totally separate and not included in the James Gunn stuff. And we still have, Aquaman 2 coming out, Flash coming out, Wonder Woman 3 is like, 6 feet under now. So yeah, it's
the story for that at least is, it's I don't know if they're going to do that with Gal Gadot or not. Probably not. Like honestly, it's I'm at the point where whatever. Let's just go. Let's do it.
I'm excited because James Gunn is crazy and like really creative, and I don't know if I've seen anything of his that I like really disliked. I think I generally have a favorable opinion of what he's done superhero wise. I mean, Peacemaker was an amazing show.
It was.
And I'm excited to see more of that and how that comes into play in the DCEU. And I think they have a solid. Sorry. Yeah, I think they have the right guy in place though to take hold of this and run with it. So
you'll see a lot of B-level superheroes coming out, and I know the comic book market. Everyone's speculating beyond comprehension. Like, do we buy the early Blue Beetle Ted Kord stuff and Booster Gold? What's going to happen?
Everything's a market with Jordan. I love it.
Yeah.
But comics are. That's what they are, man. But yeah, it's going to be
get She-Hulk #1 really cheap right now as well.
Yeah. Buy it.
You know, why are you gonna talk so poorly about
because it sucks
series?
It sucks.
Dad, what was your movie of the year this year?
So do you want some like runners up?
Yeah. You had nominees or honorable mentions.
Really want it.
Let us know, and then
you really want it.
Yes.
Well, so myself, much like Nick, haven't really seen too many movies.
My man.
So here's my list, okay? Doctor Strange 2. Smile.
Mm-hmm.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh my goodness.
Oh wait, this is all of them?
Wait, you can go into the background again. Thanks for your
Hey, I'm not done.
Okay.
Shut your mouth.
Go ahead.
Shut your mouth. And the Batman.
Ooh.
Okay.
So
am I good now, Chad?
Wins.
Yeah, you're good. As long as you pick the right one moving forward.
Thor.
My pick is Thor. I'm kidding.
God of
It's
War,
obviously
and
the
Elden Ring
Batman.
all over again at the Game
Wow.
Awards.
Yeah.
I think,
right.
Yeah, exactly. I think we have a unanimous movie of the year from Showboys, and that is the Batman.
And it's because Zoe Kravitz is so freaking hot in that.
Yeah, he is. Like,
Wrong Kravitz.
He must work out.
Yeah.
No, seriously though. One of my
Colin
favorite
Farrell
Batman.
Destroyed the Penguin.
Yes, he did. He did. He really did.
And I think I want to say that series
Didn't even
is
recognize
still-
him.
Yeah.
This is true.
I think that series is still happening, by the way, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything different.
Yeah, I mean the Batman.
Confirmed.
The Batman is Showboys God of War Ragnarok. That is totally accurate.
Agree.
Smile though, that was a Showboys movie club field trip, wasn't it?
It sure was that you weren't a part of.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, man, I don't have to be part of all of them.
Yes, you do.
But yeah, we need to continue the Showboys movie club where we all go see a movie together and take awesome selfies in the theater and put them in our Discord. Perfect. So let's go with your series of the year, and we'll start with you this time, Dad.
Okay. So I've watched a lot of shows.
Good.
My man.
Some within like a week. Like Rings of Power. Not on my list,
like
though.
a day and a half.
I wish I could have like scratched my eyes out after that one. There were some good parts to it, but the shows that really like got me were Peripheral. Bluey. Yes. How'd you know? Yellow Jackets, which was on HBO Max.
Yeah. By the way, I rudely interrupted with Bluey, he said Peripheral. So in case nobody heard that,
I did say Peripheral.
Yes.
It's a Bluey safe zone.
Bluey.
Dude, I watched an episode or two before coming down the basement tonight, so I get it.
Yeah.
So Yellow Jackets, Peripheral,
and Andor.
Andor, yes.
I would say Andor takes it.
Woohoo, my man! I gotta steal Nick's line from this segment. My man, good. What made Andor edge out Yellow Jackets and Peripheral? Was
Everything.
it the amazing
Everything.
episode
Seriously.
of that we did with Tim and Casey, where they just like explained everything about Andor and Rogue One.
I mean,
and
that
Star
that
Wars to us.
episode was amazing because they knew everything about everything.
The episode where Nick wasn't there to talk about Star Wars, that was the
The one,
convincer.
yeah, you were out of town or whatever, and
Yeah.
Mike didn't have to say anything.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's the best episode of Show Boys. I didn't even talk.
I mean, seriously, everything stood out in that. You know, the world building, obviously, freaking Star Wars. I mean, acting was amazing.
When you walk out of that show being like, can we get a Mon Mothma series next? Since we're just racking up the individual character series, like,
Yeah,
did something right.
I'm
Let's
seriously
get a Saw
bummed.
series. Let's get a what's the dude's name? That's like the leader of the rebellion. I forget his name. He has the cool like ninja ship.
That ninja ship, the samurai ship.
Yeah. You know who I'm talking about, Nick.
I know who you're talking about.
What's his
I'm not
name?
gonna tell you. No.
I hate you. Gosh, you're a jerk.
Yeah, it was good.
Chad, did you ever get around to watching Andor?
Nope, couldn't get through the first like 3 episodes. I
How
know
about
I
you,
just
Jordan?
need to get over the hump probably, but
You do.
Jordan hates Star Wars,
Is
so we're
that
not even
serious?
gonna ask.
Was Chad serious there?
Yeah,
yes,
he's
dead
serious.
serious. Yeah.
He's in your club,
Wow.
but like 3 episodes in.
Did you watch it, Jordan?
No. No, Star Wars, that ship has sailed, I think.
Oh, that's a
Okay.
shame.
It is a
Shame.
shame, but everyone's
Or I
allowed to
should
have
say
opinions.
That barge on Tatooine has sailed.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. I love it. Andor is Dad's series of the year. Jordan, what is your series of the year?
So the group is, I would say, the Midnight Club.
Oh, nice.
I would
Gonna have to
say-
ask you about that.
Yeah, that's good. Peacemaker is on there,
Nice.
and the Santa Clauses is on there.
Another great pick.
Yeah, yep. And it's a holiday special. The Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special is on
Whoa.
there. Yeah,
I heard that was really
like
fun. James Gunn, by the way.
I heard
Shout
it was good.
Yeah. They did. The music was good in it. It was strange because they take like the Christmas stuff and they put it on like an alien planet, an alien city, but it was just decked out in so much Christmas stuff you couldn't help but like just look around at the lights, even being on TV. It was like a. I mean, you ever like watch like a Hallmark movie and you're like, God, this sucks, but their decorations are freaking rocking.
Yeah.
It was like that, but it was in a sci-fi junky city. It was cool.
Nice. So what would you land on?
Peacemaker. Yeah,
Nice.
Peacemaker had the comedy, had the
Yeah.
action, it had the drama, it had everything under the sun, and naked women. No, just kidding. It was-
The social exposition,
Yeah.
social commentary.
yeah.
It's all there.
Had
They had a
DC's Deadpool,
what?
Vigilante.
Oh, nah, I don't know.
I don't know.
He's up
Wait, was
there.
that the low point for you? Was his character?
No,
okay.
I liked him a lot actually.
Okay. Yeah, he was awesome.
Again, what I really loved with it was they kind of like, they jumped on like the woke issues, right, and like
Yeah.
and stuff that's like super touchy, but they did it in a super tasteful way that didn't piss off anybody. They made fun of both sides. It's
Yep.
I kind of call it like the last man standing effect that Tim Allen has on the
Yeah.
show, Last Man Standing, right? The show's written by far left people, and they have a lot of far right actors, and so they make fun of each other, and when you do that, you have true comedy, right?
Dude, it's
Yeah.
that
you know
show's
how to make
so
fun of
funny.
yourself.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
show is great. It's so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, it's very underrated, and knowing how to make fun of yourself is just that's the way to for how touchy everything is these days. It's the way to have pure comedy.
Mhm.
I highlighted this last episode, but now that you're actually on the episode, I'm going to highlight it again. But your comment tweet in the revitalized Twitterverse that Tim Allen is a national treasure
Yeah.
just really resonated with me this year. That's like my favorite like bumper sticker tagline, like the one-off tagline, like just really stuck with me. I'm like, you know what? That's probably true. Like, I don't even have to think that hard about it. Like, Tim Allen can probably be considered a national treasure, much over like Mariah Carey or anybody at this point. So,
Disney is super lucky that he's. I mean, I've never seen like the Rotten Tomato scores or anything on the Santa Clauses, but I would say Disney's super lucky that he's still doing the stuff with them.
Yeah, that was
tasteful.
It was a great series. It was
tasteful individual.
So not shocked that Peacemaker won though.
Rotten Tomatoes 57%.
Ooh, yeah, that sounds
Not
about
shocked
right.
on that. What's the audience score? Out of curiosity.
Let me click. 57. Sorry, 57 from the critics, 62 from the audience. Hugging close there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was the first.
That's
episode,
Christmas spirit down.
Yeah, geez, that darkness and that orb is just growing.
Well, again, we won't dive too hard into it, but you have a little bit of politics headlining that one with Tim Allen going forward. It's they did some super conservative Christmas stuff in it, and it's I expected a low score, honestly. The first episode is actually pretty rough, but it picks up really quick.
Yeah. Agree. We watched that all on Christmas Eve, the entire series with the fans.
Real quick on just the Santa Claus, world itself. I was thinking to myself, like, well, I was actually in a conversation with someone on this, but it was like I was talking about how, like, in the movies it started getting a little crazy. Like, you started having like the Easter Bunny showing up, you had the Tooth Fairy, the Molinator, you had Father Time was everyone was there. I'm like, man, this is like, it gets a little crazy with Jack Frost even, right?
Yeah.
But in the first one, Tim Allen's like talking outside the North Pole, like pointing at stuff. He's like, "Is that a polar bear directing traffic down there?" So like the craziness was already there even in the first one. They just kind of alluded to it, and that made me feel a little bit better about the sequels.
Before we go into the game of the year, I wanted to ask both of you about two different shows on your list. We'll ask Dad first because it came up when Sid was on with The Peripheral.
Yes.
So, like, what are your thoughts about that? Like the Black Mirror Ready Player One. Like, why do you think that is a good description? Like, what's going on? What were you thinking while you were headbanging back here?
Well, actually, now that I think about it,
Never gonna get away from that.
There. I mean, that might be the best soundbite that we have.
That's what happens when I'm not backstage.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, really, you
hate to see it. You hate to see it. You hate to see it.
You really do.
I know you hate to see it.
You hate to see it, guys.
I didn't do that either.
I love that he asked you a question and then totally derailed you.
I mean,
from any coherent thought you probably had in your brain at the moment.
I don't even know what I was going to say. Thanks.
Yeah. What are we even talking about? I don't even remember.
The Peripheral. Why do you think Ready Player One, Black Mirror fits the description there? Like,
what I was going to say, or what I was in the middle of saying, was that it was more like Matrix, Ender's Game, if they had a baby together.
Sounds hot. Okay.
So hot, you have no idea. The VR aspect is amazing. It's their consciousness that gets shot to the future, which is freaking really cool. I mean, there's some parts that are like, ugh, that's kind of rough. But again, the first season, they got to work out the kinks and stuff. But I feel like give it a chance. It's good.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
The premise is super interesting. Like you said, they put on this VR headset. Their consciousness gets transported into a peripheral, which is an android body.
A stub, I think.
Right.
What do they call it?
In a stub, which is a branched timeline.
Into a
into
Robot.
the future. Yeah, and then they control this robot through the VR headset, and they can like feel everything that their peripheral feels. Yeah, it's just super interesting, and
It's
like
such a crazy cool concept.
the story really like starts to get interesting too. Like I don't want to go too deep into the story because one, we don't have a lot of time, and two, I don't want to ruin it for anyone. But like the meat and bones are there. They just need to
They'll work it out.
clean it up a little bit. Jordan, the Midnight Club, you said, was on your list, and I would love to hear your thoughts on that, just like real briefly, because we did an episode on it, and like out of the Flaniverse, I think this landed as like the third out of the 4 shows for most of us. I really enjoyed it, but I would like to hear your thoughts on it.
Real quick, what was the second for most of you guys?
I think Hill House was first, and then for me, Midnight Mass was second, and then Midnight Club, and then Bly Manor.
I think that was my list as well.
That's where we landed at the end of the episode. Yep.
Yeah, Midnight Mass can go to hell with that dog scene. I can't. That was one of the hardest. That was one of the hardest things to watch, I think, in any type of cinematography, and since the death of Littlefoot's mother, probably.
Oh yeah, that was very rough.
That's only because I haven't seen Bambi, because I know what happens. Yeah. So Midnight Mass, Midnight Club. The next ones would be like noon tea, something like that, right? Brunch. First of all, the fact that it got canceled, the second season got canceled, was a big bummer, right? What they released on that was, it sounds like the second season would have been awesome. But the first season is, I didn't catch on to a lot of the big reveals that were going to happen in the second season, which made me like the first season even more as I was reading the reveals. But the actors were great. Some of those kids, I believe that they were really dying. They were so ill. They just did a great job on it. I can't. There was a couple stories that may have been a little bit boring, but the majority of them were really good. And I'd say one of the worst stories in it, I gotta get something bad about it, is when the girl kept screaming. I'm like, okay,
I was just gonna say that one was hilarious.
Like, it's just like
really tested like how many jump scares I'm tolerant to, and
right.
I don't know, does it get old? They could have kept going. I think they cut it a little short there.
They got me like one last time towards the end, and I knew it was coming, but
then it's like, when does it end? And I'm still scared. Like, what is happening? Like, keep going.
The amount of times they got me was 4 or 5. I can't remember, but it was a good show. You know, it's.
I enjoyed. Nick, before we get to their game of the year, why don't you read and answer the boys here for us? Get one of those out of the way.
Okay. So I'll do the next one here, which is Old Cozy Contagions. So he says, for movie, I have to go with Barbarian and The Black Phone. Didn't watch too many movies this year either, but those two were mind effers. LOL. Ethan Hawke is pure gold in everything I've seen. Blake Skarsgård doesn't know how to disappoint.
Bill,
yeah, sorry, not Blake.
Bill's brother. He just broke into the acting scene.
Oh man, I'm trying to think. Oh, I was just watching Fred Claus, and there's the scene where he's in like their like AA, but it's all the brothers of famous people. That's what was like in my mind. If you guys have seen Fred Claus.
Oh yeah.
For the show, it's going to be The Patient. Probably the only show we really.
I heard that's really good. Yeah, I heard that's really good.
Yeah, I've heard some things about that as well. And then, other than watching and catching up on the Stranger Things, Steve Carell needs more roles like that. That is interesting. That Steve Carell, he continues to branch out and diverse himself. It seems.
Yeah, The Patient seems really interesting. He plays like a psychiatrist who ends up getting held hostage by like a psychopath patient of his.
Yeah.
I think it's I don't know if it's a Hulu original. It might be an FX show, but I think you can watch it on Hulu.
So real quick, on Fred Claus, there's a scene. There's two scenes actually. Super quick. Actually no, it was just the one scene. When he gets in an argument with the DJ at the North Pole, and Santa walks in, and he's like, "Look, you have a real problem here with your disc jockey," and he's like, "Fred, he's an elf that plays records." It's so simple. It's freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right, game of the year, Jordan. We'll start with you. Have you played any games this year? And 2, what is your game of the year?
I have. So I'm gonna name off a couple, and the game of the year is gonna just piss everyone off. Before I get too far into it, it's not going to be God of War. It's not going to be Elden Ring. So some great games I played this year. One is Northgard. If you guys have ever played Northgard before, it's a beautiful take on real-time strategy. It's
Vikings.
Vikings.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's a good game.
It is. It really is. It's more about like territory control, and it's not massive battles. It's really you just make a clan of Vikings that fight other clans of Vikings, and you can do different world events that help you take over. You can make alliances with what are non-player characters, and then you can get them on your team and then use them with your clan.
It's like a little League of Legend inspiration in there with like the map events or like the map bosses you can like get control of. Very clever, fun game too, and it's light and enjoyable.
Yeah, we were playing 3v3, and one of the greatest. Now we were relatively new at this point to it. One of the greatest things that happened. We had two different teams, obviously, at 3v3, and we were all in the same Discord chat because we were actually kind of helping each other, like how in the hell do you make a scout? Like simple stuff like we were learning. But like even like second game or third game, it wasn't even about like destroying each other. It was about just surviving the winter.
Yes.
So like, we were like trying to figure out like good methods of doing that. The war wasn't even, we were obviously enemies if we saw each other, but we're all just trying to survive in this, harsh environment. And not everyone did, right? Like I made an entire, like a great military, a great, clan of warriors, and they all starved to death right before my very eyes. And but I recovered, and then the other guys, their towns like basically starved to death, and we ended up winning without even raising a fist. So that's a phenomenal game. Overwatch 2 was released. It's simply Overwatch still, just 5v5 and different maps. It's a give and take, but I still believe it's one of the best game franchises of all time, and I've played the hell out of it still this year, and so it's definitely going to be on the list. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge is a massive, it's a huge success as far as being like a side scroller co-op game. You can do the 6 players co-op. It's just it's mayhem and it's fun, and I would also add a mobile game that I recently found, and it's called Marvel Snap.
Oh yeah, it won a couple awards at the game show too.
Yeah. It's the whole reason I'm bringing it up on this too would be, I don't think a mobile game, like a mobile card game, or like a mechanic based mobile or card game really captured anybody the same way like this is Hearthstone. So I think it's worthy of bringing up. And if there was a mobile game of the year, hands down, that would be it. So I said pants down.
That's the only way.
Yeah.
That's a stream team thing right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It is true. They're very big fans of no pants.
Right. So if I really just as far as like just a actually Mario Kart 8 was a game I played a lot this year so far too. My fiance, she completed certifications, so bought her a Switch, and we went crazy deep on the games, and kind of refound a new love for Nintendo again, honestly. But as far as just bringing back nostalgia, capturing visual nostalgia and upgrading it to 6-player co-op. I think Shredder's Revenge is one of the best games that come out this year.
Nice. That's a solid game.
I don't get why that would get hate. I want to play that game so bad.
love
Yeah.
that
Well, it's just not as
Yeah.
like massive and immersive as like what
Right. Yeah,
Mario would be
that's
or anything
true.
like that, but it's just a that's it. That'd be it.
That was a great
it's a good
revival of a solid series, and I would say a forgotten genre.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So solid pick. I respect that. Yeah, Dad, what do you got for game of the year?
Not much.
Roblox.
Roblox.
Yeah, Roblox.
We have fun
so-
on that this year too.
Yes. So the reason I spent like a bunch of money on a nice new gaming computer. So I can't buy any of these new games that have come out. Like I can't buy, these sweet, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But some of the older games it's a lot of nostalgia. I have been playing Wasteland 3, which is like a turn-based strategy game, which is fun. I also got a VR headset.
Ooh.
Dude, everybody's getting one of these things.
No
I'm
wonder
gonna
you
have to buy
can't afford any actual video games. Brought a VR headset, a new gaming computer.
I made a joke on Christmas Day. I put to Dad from Kids.
Yeah.
But I made the joke like, oh wait, this isn't actually for me. This is for you guys. You open it. But it technically is for me also.
Right.
So
Yes.
it's I think any VR gets game of the year for me because it's so immersive. It's like no other gaming experience.
Have you tried Resident Evil 4 on there?
I have not, but there
really
were a
wanna
couple
try
other
that, yeah.
games. Yeah, it looks sweet.
Emily wants to play, Jeff. Emily wants to play.
Oh yes, okay.
Yeah,
I'll have to get that.
You're like,
so
who's
is
Emily?
exactly.
Who's Emily?
Yeah.
And where is she? And why haven't I
does
talked
she-
to her yet? And what kind
So
of
is the Meta Quest 2, is that what you're talking about? Is that like the go-to thing to buy for VR right now?
I'd say it's probably the most popular one.
Yeah, I'm like halfway
Chad's
in
gearing
between.
up.
I mean, I'm halfway in between wanting to buy one of those and waiting for the PlayStation VR, just because I have so many games that I already own for the PlayStation VR.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's
Just
much
wait.
cheaper. It's much
Just wait.
cheaper. Yeah.
I mean, I love it. My kids love it. It's a win.
Yeah.
Yeah. What have you played on it, Jeff?
They have like this little tutorial
Asteroids?
thing.
Oh.
Yeah. Where you're like in this space station type thing, but it kind of looks like an RV, like a really rundown futuristic
Spaceballs?
RV.
All out in space.
Yeah.
Baseball?
Spaceballs, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spaceballs. And there's like this little robot, like you show up and it freaks out. Like you turn on this little system and it freaks out and jumps back. But it teaches you like how to play and how to interact and do different things. So that was really fun. It was really fun watching my mom play it.
Yeah. Real quick, I on VR. My 30th birthday, we had the VR going, and it was like a Halloween based, birthday party. And were you there? Did you stop?
I think I was.
Yeah.
Wasn't
VR was out back then?
Is it Allie's house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was
So-
the PC. What was that? What system was that? Was it the Vive?
It was a not an Oculus.
Was it HTC Vive?
I think it was a Vive. Almost positive it was a Vive. 6 years ago now. Jesus.
That's
But,
crazy.
Allie's mom, Jaha's mom.
Does she have it going on?
Yeah, right. She has MS, so her
Wow.
balance is a little off, obviously, and it's difficult for her sometimes. But we put her in a game where you dance, right, and you can like spin and do all these different things. It was insane because like it leveled her out perfectly, and she was
Wow.
able to act and keep perfect balance within the game.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it did some of the equilibrium or something like that. I don't know what it does.
That's awesome.
It screws up my equilibrium. I know that.
Yeah, that's my concern for sure.
I was playing this multiplayer game. It's a shooter, whatever. But like, so you can run with the left joystick and you can use the right thumbstick to move, but you move it like 45 degree increments. Or you can turn around, like turn your body around, and like there was like this rail grinding thing, like on a skateboard you could go. I felt like I was gonna fall.
Right.
So like it totally messes with you until you get used to it. But like, oh man.
Yeah, it's ruined my days before, like doing like some of the roller coaster stuff. I got home and I was just like, I can't do anything. But
and you gotta watch the amount of time you spend on it too, because it'll just really jack you up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I thought it was super cool when we saw her, doing that. We're like, wow.
Yeah. Yep. That's very fun.
Very solid choices, guys. So thank you, both of you guys, for coming on. I mean, I know, Dad, you're kind of hanging out behind the scenes anyways, but Jordan, thank you.
I'm always here.
Coming on. It's nice to see you and hear you and chat with you. We'll have to get you back on an episode soonish. I know life's
I said a few months ago I had more time and I'd be back, and that was a filthy lie. And,
you liar!
Yeah, right.
Someday we'll find you back on.
I'll keep hopping back in. I'm always welcome.
Yeah. Well, thank you for stopping by. We're going to move on to the next segment. So we'll see you later, Jordan, and we'll see you behind the scenes there, Dad. Thank you guys for coming on. Man, it's always fun to hear from our partners, the people we do Showboys with. I just want to say personally, I'm super grateful and thankful to everyone we had on, and Peace, Love, Ames, Kumino, Joe, anyone else who helps us out behind the scenes. Like, thank you so much for putting your time and effort into what we're trying to do here. It means a lot to us, and we're just thankful we get to do this with a bunch of cool people and people we call friends. So thank you. Man, we still got a lot of stuff to get through here, guys.
It's rolling.
Let's do a little recap. I know we all have to pick our series of the year and our game of the year.
I was gonna
Before we do that, while we're talking about our helpers, one of the notable things that happened with Showboys here was adding Dad the Cap to the team as like our live stream producer and artist helper, basically everything behind the scenes helper. He's been a huge addition to the team. So thank you, Dad. And like we mentioned earlier, we launched our website, showboysmedia.com, which you'll want to go check out. It's the home base, really, of everything Showboys related. You have access to all of our YouTube videos, all of our audio versions of the episodes. We have a blog. We have D&D stuff on there. Everything you can think of is over there, so go check it out. Thank you, James, for helping us with that.
Okay, series,
Chad,
rip it open.
What you got?
Okay, for series. Now this is going to disappoint you guys because this is my lowest category. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's got 4, so maybe it's not my lowest, but not really anything groundbreaking on here for me because I didn't really watch that many series. I have Obi-Wan on there. I know that a lot of people hated Obi-Wan. I personally loved it. It was just cool to see those actors return to the characters. It's really like Nick said, you basically just want to watch the last 2 episodes of it, but you kind of need to watch the rest of it to see what's going on. I have to give a shout out to Vinland Saga, which Brady and I watched this year. I thought was absolutely fantastic. It was cool to see a Japanese anime taken out of Japan somewhere else, talking about Vikings. Really cool. Dahmer, which was actually kind of a shock for me. I really, really enjoyed it. I think Evan Peters, I think is his name, did a fantastic job as Dahmer. He did kind of maybe toe the line of Napoleon Dynamite a little too close in some of the scenes. But outside of that, I think it was great. It wasn't as graphic and crazy as I thought it was going to be. If you look at Dahmer's crimes versus what the show actually showed off, it wasn't that crazy.
Well, that's because they're trying to humanize them and make teenagers like become more Dahmers.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Trying to make little baby Dahmers.
Yeah. It was super cool to I really enjoyed that series. And then my winner for this year, no brainer, is House of the Dragon. Again, this is just like you should have seen this coming. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
But I, to be honest with you, didn't see this coming. I had very low expectations going into House of the Dragon, even though I was very excited for it. I didn't really think it was going to capture me in the way that it ended up doing it. I think it was just cool to see them telling a fresh story in a kind of familiar world that is somewhat different because it's 100 years in the past. Matt Smith's Daemon sticks out to me as one of the best characters, not only on House of the Dragon, but maybe in the Thrones world as a whole. And yeah, it blew me out of the water, dude. It said, we set up an awesome war to come in season 2 here. I think HBO now sees that there's a huge potential with the series, and I can't wait to see what they come up with for season 2.
Nice. Yeah, not surprised.
Yeah.
But I mean, those are some good shows. I mean, I think I never made it all the way through Vinland Saga, but I think I watched half of it. And it was just one of the things that got pushed to the wayside for one reason or the other. But
yeah,
what I saw of it was really, really cool. Viking anime. That's rad.
Yeah, like awesome.
Yeah. Nick, series of the year.
Man, that it's tough, because we're the show boys and I am like the anchor point for like shows are better than movies. So I feel like I kind of make sure we are the show boys on brand. Pretty soon we're just gonna outlaw talking about movies. I think that's like the play. Because they're just not worth it. Anyways, definitely tough. Just Chad talking there, like great nominees there, because obviously like Vinland, fantastic. Lots of The Crown for the wife and I. Not that we were finished it, but we've definitely been working through that the past like month or so. And Matt Smith, fantastic in the first 2 seasons, but then the familiar actor that reprises the role in season 3 like carries it through, and I'm just like a Prince William fan at this point, like those two portraying him. But yeah, so it's tough, but this is where I'm gonna do my role too. And I would
1A,
say
1B, huh?
Yeah. 1A, 1B. I would say my 1A is gonna have to be House of the Dragon. Just because not only does it score highly across all categories, but it's a sequel that like doubles down on the like one of the most renowned first installments of something, right?
Yeah.
Which is just like it's just crazy. So like if there was only one other Star Wars show and then all of a sudden like Andor like doubled down on it, that'd be a different story. But it didn't, because there's a million Star Wars shows and a million Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
So just entering and holding down House of the Dragon just has to like get the gold medal. So I'll give my silver medal, if you will, to Andor, because in a very expansive mediaverse, it just like steals the show, right? And just kind of comes in right next to, I guess, Rogue One, right? Like I haven't really put a lot of thought to that in the entire Star Wars like rankings, but it just doubles down on whatever Rogue One builds into. So definitely Andor and House of the Dragon just are like take the cakes for series this year. Definitely have watched like a lot of series because that's just kind of like what I do. But those two are just like gold medal awards right there.
Yeah. Solid list you got there. I have a handful of nominees, couple honorable mentions. My nominees are Stranger Things. New season was really good. Return to form, I think, for that series. Ozark's final season, so fabulous. It was so good. The Last Kingdom's final season, also amazing. So just have 3 Netflix powerhouses in the Showboys like universe here.
Yeah.
Honestly, as much crap as I gave, I didn't have that on here, honestly, but that was just an oversight on my end because The Boys was great. Rings of Power made it, even though like I kind of pooped on it in the review with Fran.
We gave it an honest review.
I was entertained by it, and it was a return to a familiar world that I enjoy being in. Andor, of course. I mean, just go listen to that episode. And then The Chosen is gonna sneak in there. Season 3 is out now. It's halfway over, so it's gonna finish up in 2023. But due to the companion series, I went back and rewatched the first 2 seasons, and yeah, exactly what Joe talked about in his video. This series, it just, man, it does a fantastic job of making Jesus and his ministry, the stories from the New Testament of his ministry and the disciples, making them relatable people that you can understand. And on top of that, as a Christian production, the quality is actually outstanding. Like the cinematography stuff is really good. The acting, really good. The writing, I'd say really good. There are some awkward moments, but like compared to all other Christian media,
it's a 2,000-year-old time set. What are you gonna do? It's 2,000 years old. Like, what are you gonna do?
Right. And like we talked about on our Patreon episode where we were building out the bracket for March Madness, this show in the entire list of shows that we had the highest average rating across the board, which blew my mind out of all the shows that were listed on there. My pick, though, Andor wins. Andor is my series of the year for 2022. Which leaves, we have no official series for Showboys because we have a 2-way tie, House of the Dragon and Andor. It wasn't as clear cut as movie of the year, where it was a resounding The Batman. But, 2 great shows. Hard to argue with either. I did have honorable mention Peacemaker, and I did have the Santa Clauses on there too, because I thought that was a really, really fun series. So that wraps up show, and we have only our game of the year left.
Tough.
Which is going to be tough. Do you want to talk about some of the notable moments for Showboys Gaming, or because I feel like I've been going through everything. I don't want to like keep talking about everything. If you guys wanted to talk about something, but this was a huge year for Showboys Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, obviously, you talked about like we doubled the size of the stream team. Very, very good, powerful ads there, right? That still kind of propels along. Obviously, the website coming out this year helps kind of consolidate some of that. But definitely,
we added Chad. Was that a 2022 thing, or is that a late 21 thing? Because you're like the gaming expert in Showboys.
Yeah, I think it was 21. I think. Yeah,
it had to have been.
It had to have been.
Yeah, for sure. But what Chad has done this year is a heavy contribution to the Showboys Gaming channel, with his numerous contributions, as well as
walkthroughs.
The Madden thing, I think, is genius with his son. Like that's awesome.
Those streams are fun.
Things like that. His walkthroughs are like just insane. With no intention of like sometimes never like playing the game. Like you don't have to, because Chad like will narrate the whole thing for you. All the context. It's just awesome.
So true.
But yeah, I mean, even besides that, like Mike, with really the wider stream team, you guys launched the D&D campaign, which is fantastic.
That's been a blast.
Another commitment to like a long-term project, right? Not just like a topic tossed out there into the ether and done on a Thursday. It's It's
Dad.
like every 3 weeks on a Sunday. Like you guys just crank out 4 hours of like a D&D campaign live.
How many sessions have we had, Dad? Is it 5 or 6?
I think it's 6.
But we've had quite a few. It's been going, and let me tell you, the story that Ugly Kid Joe Cross, he's the DM in this campaign. The story he is weaving is fantastic. Like, it was really interesting. I've never played D&D before in my life. This is my first time. So like the beginning, like our first 4 sessions, I would say, seemed to be pretty like what I thought in my mind is like a stereotypical D&D story. But then at the end of, I think it was the 4th campaign, or maybe it was the 5th one, I don't remember, but the end of that session, what he did with the story, like, blew everyone's mind. We were just sitting there, mouth agape, like, what is happening? It turned my character, like my character's arc in this narrative, completely upside down to where like I don't even know how to play my character now, like from a like moral standpoint.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been super fun. Dad the Cap is playing Peace Love Ames, BioCiv, and then of course Ugly Kid Joe Cross is DMing. Yeah, we had a big focus on Showboys Gaming. Chad's been doing a lot to help build up the YouTube channel. I've focused a lot on streaming on Twitch and building up our Twitch channel. We reached affiliate, which was really cool. And yeah, it's just been a lot of fun gaming, like a lot of fun gaming stuff. Yeah. So go follow us on Twitch at Showboys Podcast and subscribe to the Showboys Gaming YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of this content.
Chad, yeah, our summer marathon of gaming episodes.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. So I mentioned off camera that I have been playing Sekiro on the Steam Deck. I was damn close to looking at my own walkthrough because there were a couple things that I was like, dude, I cannot remember where the hell this thing is. So yeah, I mean, I learned. I love that Sekiro walkthrough. I put a lot of time into it. I learned some lessons in there as well, like don't stream the walkthrough episodes, record them off stream so the quality isn't shit. But yeah, I'm super excited to do more walkthroughs. I just need to find a game that I want to do it for. I kind of want to do it for Tsushima, but I play Tsushima so boring that like nobody's gonna watch it, you know.
I don't know.
Maybe that's your challenge, is to find the spicy way to play.
Find the spicy way to play it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. But with all that said, Nick, why don't you start us out with Game of the Year?
All right. Question. Can I do PC and PS5 as 2 separate dually categories? Or do I have to pick one from each and that's my 2?
I would just say pick one, period. But
oh man,
you do what you got to do.
See, man. Okay. So I don't want to pick one period because that's not fun because it's just Valheim. That's not cool. Like, okay, I'm just Valheim stan. Like, we'll get that out in front, right?
Yeah.
But definitely like the alternate pick for maybe just an honorable mention for PC because Valheim just steals all the fun, is Total War 3 Kingdoms, which is set in China during the Three Kingdoms period, which is like the Han Dynasty where it like starts to collapse.
Yeah.
For being like a Total War 4X, like that, like somehow they capture the story element of that in just like an open-ended campaign map. I don't know how they do it, but like they really capture the momentum of like you are a Chinese leader of your faction and you are fighting against like the dynasty for Greater China. So like going into every battle, the generals of your army that you pick and curate pop up with like just very like positive like mentions of, you know, we're gonna win this, or like for China. Like it just really puts you in the mindset. And I haven't played a ton of it, but I played enough of it just to be like, they really did something different there with like a Total War game and like the period piece war game, Total War game. So Really enjoyed that here in the past like 2 months. So looking to play more of that this year and like really kind of like finish a campaign. That's the hard part. But
what about PlayStation?
So for PlayStation, similar situation. So Dragon Ball Z Kakarot kind of steals the show for my game of the year there. Put a lot of time in that. Simply just purely enjoyed it. Really captures the show, right? The important parts of the show, the energy, right? That show's all about energy and power. And that game definitely channels it. And somehow they make the weird RPG elements, whether it's fishing or just like collecting stuff around the world, like fun, even though it's like kind of pointless, you still kind of want to do it. So that one definitely takes it there. And then my follow up, like honorable mention there, late in the year mostly is Red Dead Redemption 2.
Nice.
Highly have enjoyed that game in the past like couple months. Really ever since the Thanksgiving sale.
Yeah.
That's basically when I got Red Dead and Three Kingdoms on sale. So
nice.
Those are my late year additions and honorable mentions. But other than that, it's Kakarot and Valheim that owned most of the year.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Chad.
Okay. So I have a couple to get through here. First is Horizon Forbidden West. Same thing pretty much that Joe said. I thought it was an amazing sequel. Beautiful world. The gameplay in that is just so tight and responsive. It's just a fun game to play. Super excited for the DLC because there is an item that is actually in the trailer for the DLC that you get literally at the very end of the game, and it would have like completely changed the game. So I'm excited to get back with that specific item. I'm not going to spoil anything, but yeah, that definitely has to be on there. I also have to mention Elden Ring. Again, it took me a couple times to get into this game, but this game is like so massive, dude. There are sections of this game, hidden areas of this game that are bigger than some of the Dark Souls games by themselves. So it's just a massive game. It definitely has its issues. It's got some weird graphical issues, performance issues, but just what From Software was able to do with the FromSoft, Soulsborne formula, turning it into an open world, I think they did a great job. And I think I had the most fun with it because I played with dual whips, which takes the like kind of clunky Dark Souls combat and turns it into, I don't want to say as good as Sekiro. It's not even close to Sekiro, but much more quick and responsive like Sekiro. So I have to put that on there. Triangle strategy.
Not often you get the dual whip weapon.
Right. It's so cool. Yeah, dude, it's so cool. It's so cool. There's not, I mean, I can't even think of any games outside of like the Castlevania games, the side scroller, where there even is a whip. So just having that dual whip, and I'll tell you, dude, it melts the bosses in those games. If you go with the bleed build with the dual whip, I mean, it's so easy. I literally beat the final boss of the game in one try with the dual whip.
Dang, so it's status, Chad. Yeah. Don't mess with them.
It is definitely the way to go.
Coming soon?
No, probably not. It's nuts. Dude, that would take like like years.
Walkthrough of what?
Like, yeah, there's just so much.
The landscape and
yeah. Triangle strategy, which was kind of a shock for me. Again, I want to harp that it's definitely the worst fucking named video game I've ever heard in my life, Triangle Strategy. But that being said, it is actually a really great game, especially if you grew up in the 90s JRPG era with Final Fantasy Tactics and that kind of stuff. This is really cool, dude. It's just a nostalgic ride back to those times. So great Thrones-inspired story going on there. So really excited to see what they do with that. I think we're definitely going to get a sequel. And then Sifu. And Sifu had to be on here for me. It's definitely my game of the year, which might come as a shock when I have Elden Ring and Horizon on there. Those were both very close to winning it, but just the amount of hype that Bio and I had built up for Sifu and then it living up to that hype is what took it over the top for me. It's got one of the coolest story segments where it's just a typical revenge story, but you're actually playing the villain that causes the need for revenge during the tutorial, which I think I still think is so brilliant that you're actually causing the pain and the hurt that's going to send your character later down the path of revenge. And I think that's just such a cool way to open a game. While I talk about Sekiro being the best sword-to-sword combat game I've ever played. This is hands down the best hand-to-hand combat game that I've ever played. And it's an indie title too. So it's crazy that this game is so good. And they've added so much crap into this game. I really need to get back to it. Without question, my game of the year winner.
Nice. I kind of had a feeling that we would get that.
Yeah.
It was cool to hear Triangle Strategy make the list. Love that game. So we have, well, Nick had like 4 game of the years, and then Sifu for Chad.
Yeah. And I do need to, I pretty much kept it to games that I played that came out this year. I do have to mention Persona 3 and Persona 5 because I played a lot of those this year. Persona 5 would have won my game of the year had it came out this year, but I kept it to a game that came out in 2022.
Right.
So that's why Sifu. But I do have to mention those 2 games because they're great.
Right on. So I'm going to start with my honorable mentions first. Lost in Random gets an honorable mention. That game was really fun. The mechanics, very unique. Like a deck building hack and slash that also involved dice rolling in the combat. Had some hesitation and some curiosity on how that was going to feel playing it. Watching Ugly Kid Joe Cross stream it looked cool, but then when I decided to stream it, I was hesitant on whether or not I'd actually like playing it. Spoiler alert, I did. It was really fun. And the story was really cool. The art style felt like I was in a Tim Burton movie. It was awesome. Valheim, of course, is an honorable mention, even though my playtime this year is just a fraction of playtime in 2021. It still needs to go on there just because it's a fantastic game. And then, of course, Dungeons and Dragons, but it's not really like a video game, but that campaign has been so fun, and it's something I wish I would have experienced earlier in life. You know, I mean, I'm only 35. It's not like I'm 70 and playing Dungeons and Dragons for the first time. But I had never tried D&D before, and I kind of wish I would have because it's a lot of fun. With that being said, my nominees are, of course, Pokemon Legends Arceus. I've talked about it a lot already. Triangle Strategy. Chad's already talked about it, and I agree. Return to turn-based tactics games. Genre. This game actually kicked off my newfound love for this genre. A game that I had always wanted to get into, never really tried. Last time I tried was Final Fantasy Tactics for like Game Boy Advance or something. I don't remember what Game Boy it was on, but the story was super cool. Thrones-like is like very accurate. I loved, while it didn't have a wide variety of branches and choices to make, it had enough to make choices matter, and it had enough to have different endings. And my first playthrough, I played through and went one way. My second playthrough that we did for our Patreon episode, I decided to go the other path and unintentionally ended up getting the correct ending.
The true ending. Yeah.
And the ending was like, the ending for my first playthrough was really cool and made a lot of sense, and I loved it, obviously, because I was like, I love this game. Let's do an episode on it. I'll play it again. But the true ending was so gnarly. Like, it was amazing. I loved it. And the fact that it just like happened organically also was just a really cool factor. My next nominee, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. A game I never thought I'd play. Mario's take on turn-based tactics, and it was a blast. Really cool game. I'm very excited to try Sparks of Hope whenever that goes on sale for like $12, like I got Kingdom Battle. Detroit Become Human. Game I never thought I'd play, and I ended up loving every second of it. This was one of the wildest gaming experiences I've ever had in my life. It takes the choice gameplay mechanic that Triangle Strategy had, and then like blows it up with a rocket, and then like just does it like a millionfold better. Obviously, that's what this studio is known for. But the story, super compelling, a great cast of actual actors that were being mocapped and characters modeled after and did all the voice acting. Man, what a wild ride. You need to play Detroit Become Human if you haven't already. And then, of course, Control, my last nominee. Super fun game. A little ticked off at it at the moment, but that doesn't take away from the fact that when I finally actually played through this with intent and saw it through to the end and tried to 100% it as much as I could, one of the coolest games I've ever played. That universe, the lore in the game, so good. I haven't actually picked a winner because I had such a hard time with these nominees. So I have to do that right now. And it's going to be no surprise, I guess, but I'm going to have to go with Arceus just based off of, one, what that game did in terms of reigniting my love for Pokemon. It brought back that feeling of like awe and wonder that the first Pokemon game that I played had because of the way that Arceus totally changed the mechanics and gameplay loop of Pokemon. It felt like a brand new game, and I had no idea how to do anything in it. It was a mystery, just like Pokemon Yellow was the first time I played it, like all the way back then on a Game Boy. And so the new mechanics and gameplay loop was fantastic, but I think equally so, talking with friends who were playing it and being like, hey, I did this, like, did you know you could do that? And them being like, no, I did this, did you know you could do that? And I would be like, no, this is crazy. Like, it restored that fun factor of like not knowing what the heck you're doing in a brand new game, and then on top of it being a franchise that I love. Man, it was perfect, and it's ruined my like how I view new Pokemon games now, because that's what I compare it to now. Like, that should be every Pokemon game from now on. But yeah, my game of the year for me, Pokemon Legends Arceus. Sorry, not sorry, I guess.
It's not shocking, I don't think.
Yeah. It needs some love. It needs some love out there. It's a good game.
And it did get nominated at the Game Awards, I think, for like Best RPG or something. Obviously, it wasn't going to win, but I just thought it was cool that it got nominated in the first place. But yeah, I mean, I think that wraps up our year in review. I mean, do you guys have anything else you want to talk about? Get off your chests or anything before we wrap up here?
No, I don't.
Cannot fault that choice. I knew somebody had my back. Thank you, Joe, for nailed it. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. The DM himself in the chat.
The Lord DM.
Yes. Well, okay. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us as we reviewed 2022 in a whole with our vast crew of partners and team members and Showboy staff and all that stuff. Let us know in the comments what your movie of the year, show of the year, game of the year is for 2022. Subscribe so we can give away this OLED Switch, please. 1K subs is what we need, so tell all your friends and subscribe if you haven't. Check out Showboys Gaming. Follow us on Twitch, Showboys Podcast. Join our Discord. And, of course, you can find everything, all those links, all of our past episodes, our blog, Dungeons & Dragons content at showboysmedia.com. We'll see.
I don't think anyone wants that OLED.
No, I mean, I'll take it.
It's going to sit here forever.
I'll take it.
No.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you again for hanging out. Hope you have a good weekend and a happy new year. Bye.
I'm gonna go play Valheim.
Dude, I'm pretty sure I just heard someone's stomach grumble.
No, that's a weird thing in my throat. I just drank some water.
Is this
Imagine that, my throat
sound?
making weird noises.
Making a noise.
A new